found you hiding here in the near clear blue.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and even the United States government.
Hey, the Pro Show is on.
Awesome! Let's turn it on.
Guys? Where'd you go?
Morty, let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay.
I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray?
Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah. I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird.
Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
It's scooping time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alright, everyone, put on your comfy glasses. Oh boy.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
Chicken jockey. All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
They'll never take our freedom.
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, It's the WDW Pro Show!
It's a beautiful morning. Jonas J. Campbell and everyone is here to find out what's going on with Star Wars, Hollyweird, and everything in entertainment. Sir, are your shoulder pads fluffed, and is your tie enough to get us through the show today?
That ain't shoulder pads. That's all me. Absolutely.
That's all you?
Yeah.
Man,
right.
The work you've been putting in. So
like
impressive.
A Dorito-shaped person. And not a Dorito-eating person, but a Dorito-shaped person. Upside down.
Well, the Dorito tacos at Taco Bell, do they still make those?
They used to make the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos taco, and once they stopped doing that, they were dead to me.
They should bring that back. Jonas, we are going to have a panel of excellence as always, but a special guest is here, and I want folks to be kind. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you need, when we bring on a new YouTuber, okay, somebody who's just getting started, you need to show support. You need to get over there and subscribe and really drive this guy. I think he's got a bright future ahead, Jonas. I really, really do.
Yeah. I wonder who it could be.
God, who knows? Maybe the thumbnail guy.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
Hey, look at that. It's the drinker.
Thank you guys for the support. I'm just trying my hand at this whole YouTube thing, and I don't know, maybe it'll take off and I can try and make a living from this. So thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it. I'll raise a glass to you.
If the algorithms will just hit, man, you've got it. You're ready to go. One day.
Yeah.
All right, folks, if you're not yet subscribed to Critical Drinker, seriously, what is this, like 3 years ago? What are you waiting on? Get over there and subscribe. We've also today got Lorne, the Star Wars guru of the internet, here to help us vet our way through being aficionados of a galaxy far, far away. Jonas J. Campbell, though, before we get into the news, and we're going to move rapidly, we want to get as much time with the drinker as we can on these stories. Jonas, the superstars of the show are out there, and they demand to be seen.
That's right.
Superstars, please.
Juliet for £2. Afternoon WDW Pro panel and pro rights.
Good to see you, Juliet. Mod extraordinaire.
Yep. Mark Fields, a little ray of sunshine for $10. Object to this absolutely wonderful chat and marvelous panel. I bid you all positive vibes and a beautiful day. Whatever emoji you're sending in, it's not even showing up in YouTube. So you're way ahead of all of us, man. You're on that next level.
Advanced, I tell you.
And then for $5 more, can I also get an early birthday wish for my son? Turns 27 tomorrow. Well, happy birthday to your son.
Happy birthday to Mark Fields Jr. and even Frosty wants to celebrate along with you.
Happy birthday!
Looks like the first Dragon Queen for $5. Hey, how you doing, Dragon Queen? Pro, your hand-painted reel-to-reel is en route to Culture as of yesterday. Wow. If it ends up in Culture Studio, well, you know where to look. Hugs for all.
I hope he remembers to send it my way. And folks, the studio reveal as well as Pro on Camera for henceforth and forevermore. May 27th, join us at 9 p.m. Eastern on May 27th. And the channel changes because, well, we got to fight back against the AI and all that's happening across the YouTubes. So we'll look eye to eye this time without frozen shoulders.
Yep. Teddy D for $5. Good afternoon. Beautiful panel and pro rights. There's a lot of good afternoons to the pro rights. Thank you very much, the legendary Teddy D.
Thank you, Fitty D.
Flying blind on a rocket cycle for $2. Good day, all. Yeah, there's a lot of good vibes in the chat today. Thank you.
And a good day to you, sir.
Yep. Kaylee out for $5. Lock the Whiskey Factory. Drinker is around.
Yeah. Lock up your booze. I'm coming.
Fat Steven. Best thumbnail artist on YouTube for $2 Canadian. Lorne Drinker. Pro made me do it. I'm sorry.
You know, it's the blame is starting to flow now, and I just think that's a little bit too much. Surely it's not all on me that this happened. No.
Thinking Heretic for $2. Pedro kissing Colbert. This is not the way. I think somebody needs to get tested for something after that kiss. I'm just saying. Wolf of McGruffle the third for $5.03. Drink money raise. Oh, there's a
raise the glasses.
Yeah. Are we doing the simultaneous sip there, bro?
Absolutely. Folks,
Perfect.
Click it and sip it. By the way, I think this is a handsome thumbnail, Lauren. I thought you came across very well in this.
Yeah, I love the fact that you made Critical my daddy. That's really nice.
Adopted daddy. Come on.
I'm everyone's daddy.
Garvin Dreas for 5. Darth Lorne, dark meat of the chick. I don't know what that means, Garvin, and I'm going to move on, but thank you for the 5. Kaylee Hall for 5. Pedro finally has a career success. He passed cold sores to the vaccine master. Yeah.
Well done, Kaylee Hoth. Well done.
Kanan Barnes for 5. Welcome, CD. That's Critical Drinker to the Pro Show. Happy to have you here. Pro, let's welcome him the best way possible. These clones ain't loyal, please.
By request.
Commander Cody, the time has come, homie. Execute Order 66. I'm still alive, motherfucker.
Folks, we are not proponents of AI on this channel, and that is definitely not Chuck Norris. We're offended that managed to make its way onto the stream.
I just need to explain some channel lore before we bring up the next one. There's some rumor going around that I'm African American, but Black Jonas for 5. Hi, Diddly Hope, Henolinos. Welcome to the show, Critical Drinker. I hope you all have a blessed day.
That's kind. Truly kind. Is that your doppelganger, Jonas?
No, he is not my doppelganger. I'm melanin deficient. I just need to apparently put that on the record.
Folks, for the Wikipedia page, vitiligo has just been confirmed for Jonas J. Campbell.
Mags London for £2. Good to see our famous, sorry, I almost called you infamous, Scottish alcoholic on Pro.
Well, and both of those things.
At the same time.
And Kaylee off for 5. Are we sure that wasn't Drinker kicking Vader?
I don't know. How is your roundhouse kick? When's the last time you pulled one of those off?
It's a little bit rusty these days. Yeah, I need some time to get back in shape for that. But I used to kick with the best of them.
You know, it's like Tony Hawk with the 1080. I mean, he's 50 years old. You're not anywhere close to that, but you know, he brushes off the rust, and there he goes again. Right? You could do it. You can do it.
Matter of practice and willpower. That's all you need.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Star Wars stories up on the docket. Not because we're excited, but because, well, Pedro, you know, Disney's been trying to hide that guy, and then suddenly he appears like a phantom. And where does he appear? Stephen Colbert, final week. And wouldn't you know, Pedro didn't follow the script, I bet, or is this part of the script? Turns out, Pedro just might be gay. Suckering succotash, would you look at that? A smooch has been landed on live TV, and it's a full lip. Jonas, you spot any tongue in there? No, we can't say that. No, we dare not zoom in.
Please.
We'll do it later for an article.
This isn't mixtape.
Geeks and Gamers has this one. Pedro Pascal promotes The Mandalorian and Grogu by kissing Stephen Colbert on the mouth. You know, that's just not good enough. We really need to get in there. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the fake cheek to cheek. It says, quote, for many online, the moment immediately became meme material. But it also raises another question entirely. How exactly is this helping promote Mandalorian and Grogu to mainstream Star Wars audiences? Now, the question that I would propose to people out there is, how would this be received if Sigourney Weaver did the same thing? Or what if there was an actress in a major movie who went full on, let's make out with a late night host? Would that be well received? I don't think it would be. I think it would be perceived that she had been forced into that situation to market it, and I think it would have a huge backlash. But because Pedro is turning out to be quite, gay, happy, that's what it means, right? I remember the Christmas carols. He's gay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, maybe not. Okay, but this is the worst kept secret in the history of Hollywood, and Disney's been hiding this guy. He comes out, comes out on Stephen Colbert and kisses the guy. And I'm just curious, guys, why they decided right before the Mandalorian movie to make the switch, right? Because this is all marketing. It's all narrative. Drinker, let me go to you first on this. We've all known behind the scenes that Pedro is not the perfect form of heterosexual masculinity, but that was the marketing push for so long. He's Peepaw. He's the internet's daddy. Women are fawning over this man. And now, just before the movie releases, he's out. What's the strategy here, you think?
This is a strange one. I, as you say, it was one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. I think I was told a couple of years back that, he was gay and everyone kind of knew he was, but they just kept it under wraps. I think it was part of his appeal because a lot of the ladies did find him appealing. And, he didn't want to ruin that. He didn't want to potentially lose roles. He didn't want to lose some of his star power by crushing their hopes, I guess. Maybe now the time has come, he just doesn't care anymore. Or maybe he's preemptively getting ahead of criticisms of the movie and he's just going to come out as gay and then, he can hide behind that as a little shield. If you don't like the movie, well, it must be because you're homophobic, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is. Whether this was actually part of any sort of marketing strategy or if it was just what he felt like doing in that particular moment. Who knows what goes in the mind of Pedro Pascal.
At great risk, we'll play the clip and then I'll bounce off what you just said because I do tend to think that this is all, these celebrities, they're managed, right? I mean, it's so managed. And when he comes out with his new boy toy in Spain all the time, this is all part of like a marketing team coming up with this kind of stuff. We'll talk about the strategy. Here's the clip. We'll play it as much as we can. CBS always gets us when we do this, but folks, it's impossible to do this without just playing the thing. Here we go.
People may not know.
Hang on, let's full screen this. You all need this, okay? There it is. Ha ha. Hee hee ho ho. We do the script and here we go. Jonas, are you excited about this?
I've already seen it. We've gotten the screen cap. I guess we got to watch it one more time.
One more time. Jonas, just hang in there, buddy. We'll get through this together. Wait a minute. Did we miss it? Hang on. There we even get the little pucker sound, Jonas. We get the sound. That takes maybe
he's
practice.
Just trying to get in the next Lord of the Rings film.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Darn it, that's a good idea.
I think outside of this, though, like I would say the future success of Pedro's career kind of depends on the Mandalorian and Grogu being a success. Because if it isn't, like he's had a few flops recently. Gladiator 2 was a big old disaster. If this movie doesn't do well, I don't know. Like people might decide that he's not really the bankable star that they were hoping for.
Drinker, you're exactly right. He's in his 50s. He was put forth as a blockbuster level star. He's the lead in the Fantastic Four. We thought he was going to be one of the leads for the Avengers movie coming up. He's not that anymore. And so I tend to agree with what you're saying, okay? If I'm a marketing team, separate this out. We're not going to deal with the individual, okay? Separate this out and let's all pretend that Pedro Pascal is a business because he is. Pedro Pascal makes a lot of money for a lot of people, or at least that's the hope of the dream. So if I'm a marketing team and I see that my star that's supposed to make me a lot of money is struggling at the box office, what's something I might do right now? I might flip the script so that if you are dismissive or negative of Pedro, then I've got a virtue shield for him now. And I can create this new narrative and try to drive the people who are empathetic towards that cause to go see the movie. I think it will fail terribly, but the cynic inside me thinks this is all part of a marketing switch. Panel, what say you?
It's a funny thing. I don't know where this works. I think that there may be some concentrations of liberal sentiment in some of the big cities, but this is very off-putting to half the audience. If the virtue shield strategy, I'm trying to think of a single production where it's worked. We're now 10 years past Ghostbusters 2016, and the idea of insulting the audience or trying to put some sort of istophobic defense on behalf of a production up, all that does is maybe it's positioning for the next film. This guy has failed in Marvel. I guess Last of Us, he's doing well enough. I don't think he's continuing in that show for obvious reasons. He's got nothing big and marketable on the horizon that is attached to him. I mean, he'll be in Doomsday, but so is half the continent.
Yeah.
This is a guy.
Yeah, I think particularly once you get to the age that he is, like once you're in your 50s as an actor, you really have to have hit the big time already, because that's when you start to see a bit of a box office decline. That's when you see a decline in popularity. And there's very few that can weather that and carry on like working at that high level. Guys like Tom Cruise are essentially immortal and indestructible, but Pedro Pascal is no Tom Cruise. And I think maybe partly it's a timing issue. Like, he saw his rise to fame relatively late in his career. Like, I think he was well into his 40s before he really hit the big time in terms of recognition with Game of Thrones and so on. And maybe it was just too little too late, unfortunately. He certainly had this surge. They've really tried to push him over the past year or two. But once you get beyond that, and he's not had any major box office successes as a leading actor, they might just decide, we'll pull the plug on this guy and move on to someone younger and a better prospect.
Well, I, for one, I've been shocked by this. I really thought that he was, Mr. Machismo, but the guy who licks the rainbow stick turns out to be gay. But here's the deal, okay? I actually see a parallel with what we're watching here and with Blake Lively. Because what we found out when we were looking at the Blake Lively situation, because people wonder, why do stars do what they do? And once you start seeing them as businesses, it makes more sense. In the Blake Lively situation that just burned down her and may have damaged her husband's career, Ryan Reynolds, once we started looking at that, what was she after in that whole legal affair that didn't make sense from any other standpoint? She wanted a producer's credit. She wanted to be recognized by the Guild as a producer and as a director. And by doing so, by getting all of those, it would open up the door to her to more projects in that kind of behind the camera facility at a time when she's aging now into her 40s, where it may be harder. As you said, Drinker, it's difficult for guys once they eclipse the 50s. It's difficult for women once they eclipse the 40s. We're not going to debate whether that's right or wrong. Egalitarianism, no, so that's to the side for a moment. But you start to understand the strategy of what they're up to. 50-year-old guy who now has the virtue shield makes a lot of sense with The Mandalorian, and now we've got a narrative for when it fails. If we assume it's going to fail, we've got a narrative that's based on haters, and that carries us then into the Avengers movie to say, don't be one of the haters, don't join in. It's that kind of thing all over again.
I think that there's an aspect of this as well, that you have to have a person in an appropriate role. I'm going to bring out an obscure person, Margot Martindale, who is an excellent character actress. She rose a little bit more as her career every year, a little bit more. The thing is, you don't pay a lot of money to put Margot Martindale into your production unless you're a very small production. She's someone who shows up and does the work. I think Pedro is in this case where they're trying to make him into a big blockbuster star. And right now, what is it? Fantastic Four is his highest grossing film that made about $500 million at the box office, 250 of that domestically. And I don't think that one made its money back considering how long that was in production. Below that is Gladiator. None of this has made him into a household name for good reasons. No one says, oh, that's the guy that is the Mandalorian, which maybe that's why he has his helmet off in the trailers here. But this is a person that they're trying to make him happen. It's not as bad as some of the ones in the past. I mean, Sam Worthington, I think, has done better as Avatar has gone on. What's the guy from that played Kang, where everyone was trying to make him...
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. No one likes to be told what they're going to enjoy. And that feels like most of Pedro's recent careers. Everyone being told, you will like this. And everyone hates being told what to like.
I think you were right that they've been trying to push him for quite some time, but recently they've been backpedaling on that. You notice that up until this last week to week and a half, he was not involved in the Mandalorian marketing. And then when he did start coming out, one of the things that he started saying was, well, gosh, I sure hope that I get to keep playing this character because I've played him for so long, kind of letting up on the marketing stuff that they had been setting up as the Mandalorian might die. I'm sort of wondering if he's deliberately trying to sabotage the campaign at the end because he knows this is the end for him.
It's so funny when he talks about having played the character for so long, because in the later seasons, he wasn't even playing him. He was just doing the voiceover for him.
He's a voice actor. He's Jim Cummings, right? That's what this guy is.
And it's not even, it is his voice, but it's then filtered through that sort of tinny speaker Vox system like that he has in his helmet. And so it could be anyone. Like, I don't listen to Pedro Pascal's voice in the Mandalorian show and think, oh, wow, that's undefinably Pedro Pascal. It's generic.
It's flat delivery.
Pedro.
The character works better when it's flat delivery. Everyone is putting their guess at what his emotions are. So him with the helmet off, scowling at somebody works against the character in a way that I don't think they're anticipating. The same as having this Hutt speak English. It ruins the charm of the entire situation.
I think the problem that they've had as well in Hollywood is that they've tried to pitch him all wrong. They've tried to sell him as this like stoic, masculine, tough guy kind of actor, like, you know, playing things like Joel in The Last of Us, playing Acacius in Gladiator 2, and that's not his personality at all. You know, we often refer back to like the lick and the glow stick thing, but like he's a much more like effeminate, kind of fluffy jumper kind of guy, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, just lean into it, embrace what he really is, rather than trying to sell a lie to people. Because I think
be the true Pedro.
Yeah, exactly. Just be yourself. You'll do better.
Lauren, over and under. Do we get a Mandalorian makeout scene with one of the Hutts? Is that happening now?
Oh, come on, man. You didn't have to put that into my head this morning.
I'm sorry.
Now you put the slave Leia scene in my head in the completely wrong way, man.
Indeed. Subjugation of the gender. All right, I need to preemptively apologize for what we're about to subject to all of you, as well as the Critical Drinker, and may end any chance of him ever returning to the show. But folks, it turns out that for the past year, we've known who Pedro is, and we've been trying to signal it to you until this very moment. 4 seasons of trying to explicitly say, do you all know what cannot be said about this man? So shall we go on a jaunt through the last 4 seasons of Pedro?
It's time for my summer sizzle. Cool as a cherry popsicle. And don't hold back, get ready to stun. Fun, fun, fun for everyone. It's time for my summer sizzle. Beach ball parties, yeah, we're just getting started. It's time for an autumn fizzle. For Grizzle, the skill are on the trees. It's time for an autumn fizzle. Crack a barrel, mimosas, and strawberries. Pedro is back now, so cut him some slack now. He's coming for every IP. It's time for an autumn fizzle. Autumn fizzle is getting real. It's time for the winter whizzle. The sizzle has frizzled like a slush puppy. It's time for the winter whizzle. No Pedro in trailers, where can he be? Hey Disney, you're whacked now. Bring Peepaw back now. Mando Avengers, set him free. It's time for the winter whizzle. Winter whizzle, get him unfreezed. It's a super spring spritzel. Pedro's big year has Disney dropping. It's a super spring spritzel. Take down Star Wars, Avengers, oh please. They picked the wrong people. Even Bree said, nah, woke is collapsing. Theater snapping. It's a super spring spritzel. Oh, spring spritzel. Switch to Ryan Gosling.
I just want everybody to know this has been the longest setup in the history of the channel. A full year of building up to this very day.
Going deep on the channel lore today. Yeah.
You did.
I just don't see how you guys can see a man who dances like this.
You're disappearing.
As effeminate. Come on.
I think the moment he started like asking female like journalists and stuff about the stuff they'd had on their fingernails and stuff, like their manicurists, and look the work they'd had done, I thought, nah, we know.
Which actress was it that we heard that he had raided her wardrobe? And not for the reasons you would
Vanessa
expect.
Kirby, wasn't it?
Yeah, took her. No, I don't think it was Vanessa. The chat will tell us. Chat, who was it? Was it Vanessa Kirby? You tell us. Who is the actress that Pedro raided their wardrobe to find blouses he might enjoy? And it wasn't your grandmother this time.
Oh, it was Dakota Johnson. That's right. I think she was trying. Right. Dakota Johnson does this thing where she just kind of tries to subtly pull everyone out of the BS. So appreciate when she does an interview because she's kind of a little chaos bomb. Kelioff for 5. Is Pedro some kind of phantom menace? That would be the worst thing that could happen to Star Wars right there. Darth Pedro. Just a Dutchy for €6. Hey, Jonas is back. Had to bring him back. Hail to the panel, Proritos, and welcome, Critical Drinker. Thank you very much, Dutchy.
Thank you.
I like the Proritos.
Yeah. Well, they're good. They're made with real sugar. Butter Biscuit for 5. Here's to hoping to see everyone here, plus CC and Marv on open bar now. Hi, Juliet. Gotta run. Super behind on the mail. I'll be listening.
Good to see you out there, Butter Biscuit, and love the new logo, sir.
Wild Man of Yavin for 5. Ramen, check. Pro, check. Civ 6 on the other computer, check. Let's go.
What a day.
Why are you eating ramen when you're sending us super chats, man? I hope you enjoy it. Ritasaurus for 5. To Drinker, instead of reviewing the next Jurassic World movie, why not pay Rags to guest review it while you hang out with Nessie at your own Jurassic Park?
I've tried so hard to find Nessie, but it just doesn't work, man. What can I do? But yeah, happily get Rags in to do it for me.
Hanging with the Yeti.
Yep. Mike Nayers for 5. Even though the body shop was closed, I bet Pedro gave Colbert some friends after the show. Enthusiast. Yeah. Teddy D for 5. Pro, how much money do you want to not play Peepaw Kissing again?
There's a reason they call you Fitty D, Teddy.
Give me 500 and I'll delete it from the back of the channel without pro.
Whoa! Whoa! Wait a minute. Changing passwords. Changing passwords.
Snell's World for 2. Disney is helping the Masters of the Universe movie. Yeah, I have some slight hope there. So, Snarky D for 5. 2.45 million subscriptions. Sorry, the Critical Drinker is not a noob. He's a legend of drinker.
Thank you.
Thank you for the correction.
Almost as if he's really good at what he does.
Yeah. 8
I have
minutes
my
in,
moments.
very tight scripting, and go away now. Rabid One for 5. Question for Drinker: if Ryan Cannell was a youngling or Padawan, would Jeremy Griggs do the Force thing? What?
Well, he doesn't have to wait for him to be a Padawan. Jeremy does that to him already. Ryan's told me all the stories, man. It was brutal.
Wait till you get the behind the scenes DVD, folks. Hang tight.
Yeah. Hembry Jeremiah for 5. Pro, I'm starting to trust the new Disney CEO. I'm not completely on board with him, but I'm slowly being convinced that he is a good fit for Disney. I had a former Imagineer, I should say, come up to me within the last month and say, give the guy a chance. I think he's probably getting his feet under him. And I'm kind of doing that. So.
There are some signs. I know this might shock people. There are some signs that Josh D'Amaro is making incremental movements in the right direction. And I don't know that he can make more than incremental movements in the right direction without overturning the basket and being Bob Chapek'd. So strategically, he may be playing the cards right here, right now.
He's already committed one of the greatest sins that anyone can at the Disney company. He has filled a role that was once filled by Bob Iger. That happens to chairmen of the board. That happens to CEOs. If you're in that position, you are likely to be fired, statistically speaking. A. Marcellus for 5. Samuel L. Jackson gained his fame in his 40s. Difference is he is a better actor and more charismatic than Pedro will ever be.
Absolutely.
And he works. Like, he's a guy who shows up, and it doesn't matter if it's a good movie, it doesn't matter if it's a bad movie. He shows up and he's Samuel L. Jackson, and that's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, he's arguably been in more bad movies than good movies in recent years, but you know,
who hasn't been at this point, right?
Yeah.
Freedom Seeker, member for 2. Paula Pascal coming soon when career needs revival.
It's a family affair.
Give it time.
TLJ Screwjob, member for 36. 36 months. Keep in the mainstream middle, folks. Thank you very much, TLJ. That's an amazing amount of time.
Mainstream middle, the sensible center where money is made.
They're changing the colors of these on the back end. Snarky D gifting 10 WDW Pro memberships.
Folks, you know what that means. Where to click the button, things will change. We'll bring back our guests. Nope, they stayed. Hey, way to go, StreamYard. Look at you. You might be a respectable streaming service one day at this rate. Thank you, Snarky, and that is a lovely Fudge-Dora.
Mm-hmm. Michael Steele for 2 Canadian. Pedro is closer to Nathan Lane than Russell Crowe. How dare you? Nathan Lane is immensely entertaining.
True.
Texas 84 for 5. In Panama, Pedro would be known as...
Nope.
Is this a... Yeah. I
Just
figured
leave
you'd
it be,
stop me on
Jonas.
that one.
God dang it, Texas. We appreciate what you send in, but sometimes we'll be careful.
That's cuckoo. Highland Haggis Trainer member, gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships, as did First Dragon Queen. That's very nice.
Thank you so much. You're both out of this world.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
Jet Revan Wolf, member for 5. Where's the new summer sizzle without Pedro?
Where are you on this planet, Jet? It's not summer yet. We're working on it. We're developing, okay? These things take time.
It's May 14th. It's pretty much. Patrick Getaway for 5. Ever seen Cronenberg's Scanners? My head was going to do that after seeing Peepaw.
Boom.
You know, I noticed that they talk Scanners a lot when they're trying to promote comic book movies, specifically the Fanforstic, which the screenwriter of that is also the screenwriter on Mortal Kombat 2, so he's getting some press these days. Oh, and for $5 more, oh, hello, Critical Drinker.
Oh, hello, Patrick Ganaway.
Nope. Kaylee for 5. Sam Jackson got these snakes off his plane. Pedro found them later in the closet.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mailerd for 5. I watched Wrath of Khan in theaters recently, and Hollywood really thought Pascal could be this generation's Montalban. The question is, why?
Man, his charisma is off the charts in that movie, or generally, really. He was always a pretty reliable performer. Pedro was not in his league.
Was Wrath of Khan, was it on in theaters in a special re-release? Because we need to find this theater.
Yes.
Okay. I missed that.
Back to theaters. Man, Montalban, it's that accent, which I feel like they're trying to get away from that. Now, you never have these people who are undeniably foreign in movies anymore, unless it's a Godzilla movie. So like guys like Antonio Banderas, I feel like they get pushed to the side. They don't want to be marketing on the idea of someone being foreign and having some kind of machismo. I don't know why.
It's weird, like guys like Pedro Pascal, they only revert to their accent when they want to evoke their homeland. So he'll be talking in this like standardized American accent, and then he'll refer to like, oh, I'm from Chile. And I always pause for a second. I'm like, why are you saying it like that? It would be like me talking to you right now and saying, oh, hi there, I'm the Critical Drinker. I'm from Scotland.
That would be so much better.
It sounds ridiculous.
Not that ridiculous. I like it.
Is that the authentic dialect coming out of the accent? Is that what we do in Scotland? Scotland.
Every single one of us talks like this, and it's a nightmare.
Sean Stafka, John. That's a long name, man. Critical Drinker, what are your thoughts on Highlander 2, The Quickening, cult classic, worthy for Lorne to watch, to enjoy, or not?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm impressed they got Sean Connery back, so there's that. But yeah, it's a disaster of a movie. It's hilarious in a lot of ways, but yeah, it's not a cult classic.
I don't think that went the way that Sean was hoping it would go. Arash for £2. Ahsoka returns. Luke in the new movie Star Wars Reset. I don't think Luke's going to be in the new movie.
I don't either.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out something as cheap as that to try and get people interested.
We've heard they filmed it, but I doubt that it's in it. I think it would have leaked by now. I don't think they're good at hiding these things, but maybe.
They supposedly shot some Han Solo stuff for Book of Boba Fett, but we all know that got redone late in the game. All of a sudden, there are scenes that are all inside with 2 guys with helmets on just talking about nothing for 5 minutes straight. Like, okay, guys. KB Hugs for 5 and 5. Drinker, did Andy Weir ever contact you after he apologized for saying what he said on your show?
We talk on the regular, so yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that whole thing was just a bit of a laugh, really. Yeah.
Amaze.
Yeah.
And that's out on digital today.
I am happy to see that, Project Hail Mary did as well as it did. So
I was happy. I'll tell you this. I was happy that the way you handled that was so adept and that it forced the trades to cover you in a way that they never want to. But you made news, and then you didn't fall for the trap that they set after that. Neither of you did, and that was really impressive.
I mean, honestly, I went into it with no agenda. I was literally just like, hey, Andy, you want to talk and we can discuss like the movie and your writing experiences and all that sort of thing. Like, that was it for me. I was just happy to be chatting with him and for my audience to get a chance to get to know him and ask him some questions. And that was it. And as you say, like, I've learned a long time ago, like, don't rise to the bait. If people troll you, just don't feed them and you'll usually be fine. So I'm just here in my little corner of the internet doing what I do and enjoying it. That's the best I can say.
Doing it was another example of the new media being in the lead and the legacies trying to catch up and then find a way to pull the new media down. Well played.
Right. If you look at Variety and Hollywood Reporter and Deadline the last few days, it's heavy on coverage of this space without trying to name it, like we're all Voldemort or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of trolls, I think you Beetlejuiced this one. Wilson the Troll for $2 Canadian. Doubters about Pedro and UFO believers are kin. That's also a Scottish word. Snarky D for 5. I despise the peepaw. Force is fudged.
Ew.
Yeah. Man, we're trying to, the super chats keep coming. Wolfel McGruffle the third, 529. Thank you, man. Pro, can you do your Homer voice while Critical Drinker is here?
Jonas says I'm not allowed to.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thanks, pal.
Nightwalker Medicine for 5. To quote Robin Williams, go drinking with a Scotsman because you can't understand them before. Kaliov for 5. Highlander 2. The Quickening was deleted from history and replaced with the Renegade Edition. DEI removed the illegal aliens and replaced them with worse edits. I have not seen the recut of Highlander.
I've heard about it. Yeah, I think they tried to like erase all the Planet Zeist stuff and replace it with just they're in the future or something, and they time traveled back. It's still kind of dumb, and the movie probably shouldn't have been made.
Sounds like a masterpiece. Someday I'll have to watch it.
Shockingly, we have reached the end of the super chats. Pro?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into the next story on the docket, I just want to say a happy birthday. Lauren, do you know whose birthday it is?
I do. It is the maker himself, George Lucas.
There you go, folks. Happy birthday to George Lucas. We'll celebrate as we go into the next story. George, this one is for you.
You have every honor that a man could have. You've got almost Oscars. No. No Oscar. No Oscars.
The winner is Woody Allen for Annie Hall.
And they use something they call pyroprocessing. The interesting thing is they call it pyroprocessing, but it's a molten salt process. They're dissolving this thing in a molten salt, and they're doing electrochemistry on it. Why don't they call it molten salt? They want no association with molten salt because then it...
All right, folks, we got some molten salt for you right here for the Star Wars sequel trilogy fans and maybe the Mandoverse lovers too. Cosmic Marvel reporting this one. It says a big crossover film between The Mandalorian and Ahsoka has reportedly been scrapped. Now, there are people out there who say this is not true. At Aiden WI56023, a name I'm sure will be trademarked soon. It says exaggerated headline. It was put on the back burner, which has been known publicly for a while. It has not been scrapped, as the headline leads you to believe. But this is going back to the Forbes article that we've been discussing. It came out yesterday. Ahsoka Season 1 and 2's revealed release date gap is totally absurd. Paul Tassi is unhappy, as he tends to be, but is unhappy this time because Ahsoka has been delayed. And by the way, that probably means that those executives who stopped by Lucasfilm, Josh D'Amaro, Dana Walden, Alan Bergman, all the top brass of Disney, well, something has crashed the party, and now reshoots likely on the way. Lauren, I want to go to you first on this story. You've read the article here on Forbes. What have you found out? Is it true that the Mandoverse Thrawn Ender, the story that's supposed to, wrap this thing up, is that on ice now, or is that still planned?
Well, we don't know that it's true, but I think there's a lot of things that are up in the air right now. One of the reports that he's citing is from the Hollywood Reporter in January, and in that same article, they were talking about their confidence that the Simon Kinberg series was still going to be happening. So I think some of the sourcing material you can treat with a grain of salt. On the other hand, there's been so much turmoil that's been going on with what they're doing with Star Wars behind the scenes. I think the numbers that they're seeing for The Mandalorian and Grogu have told them everything that they need to know about whether they can carry this forward. We know that Ahsoka Season 2 was already in the can. If they're delaying it, it's got to be for something that is either we're making some major plot changes, there's some visual effects problems that they have to address, or something like that. Based on the fact that Disney leadership explicitly went to Lucasfilm to meet with those people, and Alan Bergman was involved, my guess is they're saying we're making a hard pivot. We no longer have to wait for more data to come in.
Now, the data that they're seeing is likely the same data we're seeing, and it may be worse for them. We have our suspicions that it's worse. ComingSoon.net, hosted by Yahoo Entertainment, says The Mandalorian Grogu box office is tracking like Solo, but there's one big difference, and they go on to defend it and say it's got a longer runway. I'm going to say there's some differences, though, that they don't like to pay attention to. One, we're comparing a 3-day to a 4-day. Two, we're not taking in the matter of inflation. Movie tickets today are much higher than when Solo came out. So, Drinker, we're looking at far less tickets being sold. And Solo essentially like put Lucasfilm into hibernation. So to come back after 7 years with a Jon Favreau film, and this was the #1 show that put Disney Plus on the map. I mean, it made Disney Plus survive before Bluey came in and did something. For this to be performing this way, I wonder if the financials now are prohibitive to the point that they actually can't keep making this stuff the way they have been.
I think they're going to keep a very close eye on the box office performance of this movie, and that's going to determine the future course of all of these crossover films, like the Ahsoka movie, another Mando movie. They are 100% going to put them on hold until they know if this is even viable, because if it's not, there's no point in doing it. And yeah, you're completely right. On a purely financial level, on a business level, The Mandalorian is the only thing they've produced outside of, mining the legacy characters, that's actually been somewhat successful in its first 2 seasons. It crashed and burned in its 3rd season, but it's all they have left. It's like the best of a bad bunch. And so I guess it made some kind of sense to like try their hand with a movie like this and see if maybe it's going to work. If it doesn't, which it seems like it's not gonna, I have no idea where Star Wars goes from here. Last Starfighter might be successful relatively, but it's its own thing. It's not really tied into like a larger universe. It doesn't really have a huge amount of potential for like spawning a trilogy or like an expanded universe from that. It's just one movie. And so it kind of rests on this. If this movie can't succeed, their one point of optimism, their one successful IP somewhat from the Disney Plus shows is proven that it's not viable anymore. And so they're kind of screwed. I don't know what they would do after this.
Yeah, and to see just how badly they are screwed, if we go to the report from, what was the, I forget now, let's see, we'll scroll back up and grab it. What is it?
It's coming soon.
Coming soon, that's right. Okay, if we go down, let's grab it again. I may have missed it. Okay, so predicted to bring in 86.5 million on a 4-day weekend, right? The biggest weekend, of the year so far, 86.5 million. Now, that means that this is barely making more than 20 million per day on the 4-day. And the problem is that, according to Sean Robbins, when he's looking at it, a box office report, what we've got is a situation where this film is predicted to only have 2.25 legs now. So when we're paying attention to what's being canceled, or what, the idea that there's not going to be an Ahsoka Mando movie and they're wrapping up Ahsoka season 2 and then they're done and they're moving on, box office theory for Sean Robbins. The problem is, if it comes out to 86.5 and it does a 1-to-1 as Star Wars films tend to do with the international and the domestic, then we're looking at 150, 160, right? 150, 160 on the worldwide opening. You apply a 2.25 leg out for that at the box office, you're not hitting 500 million. You're not coming close.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to look at this and say, even if it's the most frugal Star Wars film ever made, this thing needs $600, $700 million to break even. I mean, the marketing has been intense. So I think you're right, Drinker. I think that Disney has to look at this and say, This no longer makes any sense to pursue this in the way we've been doing. And I don't think that Disney suddenly is going to do a mea culpa. I don't think they're going to come in and say, well, that sequel trilogy, man, it just sucked. We admit it now. They're just going to quietly, completely pivot because they can't do this anymore. The piggy bank has run dry.
Yeah.
Joe, your thoughts on this one?
This is a movie that is, so the cope is out there. They're saying, oh, well, it's a lower budget than Solo, and it's not like Solo, and they've got their own little assigned reasons why they don't think that Solo was successful. They blame it on the poor guy Alden Ehrenreich, who I don't think he did a bad job. And I think at this point, with Kathleen Kennedy leaving and Dave Filoni really needing to prove himself, if this film doesn't succeed, his best move will be to come in and make huge changes and pretend like it was never his fault, everything that's happened up until this point. So if anyone from Lucasfilm is paying attention, you've got this great moment to throw everything else under the bus here. So it's in your best interest to do reset, reboot, big change, or at least to message it, because come on.
It's so difficult though to build that fan enthusiasm back up again when your IP is tanked like this. You know, Marvel's facing a similar situation, but it's not quite as bad. There's still some residual enthusiasm for things like Doomsday and stuff. But Star Wars, man, like it has been so long since a movie's come out. We're talking like 7 years at this point, and the fan enthusiasm is just gone. Like, and it's so difficult to build that back up. We talked about this on Open Bar before, and the prevailing theory from us is you would need at least 2, maybe even 3 really great movies to get Star Wars back to where it was before all of this. And I just don't think Disney's even capable of producing that at this point.
I forget at this point, is there anything after Starfighter on the horizon now that actually seems viable?
No.
Movie-wise, no.
Because if you follow the trajectory, they're still saying that Taika Waititi is making a movie.
Sure.
Ray is still getting a movie, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Where's Ryan Johnson's trilogy?
And then Taika Waititi just said that he's going to be working with Angel Studios next. So, you know, we'll talk about Angel Studios another time, but that doesn't exactly seem like going from what is supposed to be the biggest franchise in American movie history down to, I don't know, something original for Angel Studios. That's not exactly an upward climb.
Well, guys, let me give you something to bounce the continued conversation, because this is the end of Paul Tassi's article. And I find this fascinating that for so long, the legacy media defended Star Wars. I mean, to their own detriment. You had shills doing whatever it took to pretend that Reylos are real. They lost influence. They lost power. They're no longer relevant. But they wanted to make sure that Disney would give them the exclusives on the hope and the dream that Star Wars would come back, baby. Here's how they're ending it now. Because Paul Tassi, everybody here on the panel knows, even if you as a viewer might not know his name, this guy is like, there is nobody more inclined than Paul Tassi to defend Disney and step in to save the current state of Star Wars. And yet, here's the end of it. Well, maybe Scotty, but Scotty Mendelson, we'll leave you alone for right now. Still, it says, a 3.5 to 4 year wait for a new season of Ahsoka is laughable. Though larger questions now must be raised about the future of Disney Plus Star Wars content at all, as nearly every show has now ended short of very few exceptions. Maul, is Disney just turning back to films almost exclusively? We may be walking that path. In other words, the narrative and the legacy access media, and now even places like Forbes, is shifting. They're not defending anymore. They're acknowledging we have a problem. And that's, I think we're in a different era now. I think everybody has accepted Star Wars is broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it may not be fixable because, as I was saying earlier, what do they have left? You know, Mando is like their Superman, you know, at this point. And if that can't turn a profit, if that can't work, then what chance do any of these other characters have? Like, who cares about Ahsoka? You know, when we get to this point where Ahsoka season 2 comes out, I have legit forgotten what even happened in season 1. That show was so bland and completely pointless and forgettable. No one's going to care when it comes back, but it costs a ton of money to make.
On that point, we were talking about Ahsoka Season 1 on our back channels earlier this week, and Jonas was saying, I don't think that Baylan Skull was actually an evil character, and I mentioned to him, Did you forget that he slaughtered an entire crew of New Republic?
I legitimately did forget, because he's actually kind of cool. He's more charming than the rest of the cast because he's got a little smile. He's quiet. He's even tempered. So him and Shin Hati, whatever I think is the name of the female dark Jedi.
I love the name Shin Hati. I'll go with that. I don't care if it's real or not.
Right. Anyways, they act normal as if they're just mercenaries from that point on. So there's really no good or bad. The fight scenes are very forgettable, and all you have is the characterizations. This is what solidified in my mind that Dave Filoni is perfect for animation, because all of this stuff, if you make it animated, the expectations are different. The dialogue doesn't have to make any sense. Well, it didn't make any sense in the series itself. I just, there's so many problems at Lucasfilm, and Ahsoka season 1 is the perfect example of that. Having to wait for, 5 years for another season, 3 years for another season, that just says that they have no idea where they're going, or they're doing a big pivot, because I'm pretty sure they got this entire thing shot in the can and probably a ton of special effects already paid for on that at this point.
Well, I know it's been said ad nauseum, but I'd love to hear Drinker's thoughts on this, and Lauren, you weigh in as well. There's a way to fix this. There's a character to save, and that's Luke Skywalker. The problem is there's such hubris about this. They're not willing to go there. They're not willing to discard what happened to him. But as long as that's the case, they've taken the franchise that's worth, multi-billion dollars, and it's worth almost nothing. It's a loss leader.
Yeah.
So what do you do here? I mean, surely the hubris can be set aside at some point, and they say, you know what? This is a lot of money for investors to lose over one singular sucky film.
Yeah, I mean, Luke is all you've got left from the OT cast, because clearly Harrison Ford's got no interest in coming back.
He can't bring Mark Hamill back either. I mean, he can't play Luke. He's vile.
I mean, well, yeah, but he can still act, I guess. And so you could either have him come back theoretically as like old Luke, and just ignore the events of the sequel trilogy or something,
Like,
or you. But
it was
then
a dream.
Yeah, or you could do that weird digital de-aging thing, which I think people are increasingly turning against, because there's something really icky about it.
Can you just recast him, or can you use AI, get somebody else to play him, and the AI makes it look just like Mark Hamill? Can you do that?
And I people are obviously going to know that you're doing that, and I think they're pretty wary about that now. So I don't know what you do, but if you were to use the old version of Mark Hamill, I mean, I'm sure he would happily come back, especially if it's like, yeah, we're gonna rewrite what happened to you. Yeah, that would involve decanonizing or completely undoing the events of the sequel trilogy, and as you say, that would be the most insane pivot, the most insane course correction that I think we've ever seen in Hollywood, and I just don't think they have it in them to do that, to have that degree of humility and admit, yeah, that was all a terrible idea, we should never have done it.
Lauren, I'll give you the final word on it. Billions and billions of dollars at stake. I mean, we're not making this up. I mean, the toys, the movies, the shows, they can have it back, but they have to do a full-blown mea culpa, at least in terms of the strategy with the content they release.
I'd point them back to The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. The whole point of that movie at the end is the quote that when it comes down to choosing between printing the truth or the legend, print the legends.
I like that.
I do like that. That's not bad.
Oh, wait. Was that a reference to the expanded universe?
Might have been.
Huh.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
No! At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what?
Let's go! Jabba, right?
Oh no!
It's a Sarlacc!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys. That scream came because that lady realized that we are going to lose Critical Drinker. But, Mr. Drinker, it has been a great time. Jonas, can we pull up the super chat specifically? Here we go.
Stormweaver for 50 Canadian. I'd like to welcome Critical Drinker to the WDW Pro Show. Hope to see you here more often.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Listen, he's slumming it down here with us, but we appreciate him truly.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Stormweaver. Drinker, what do you think of the new Highlander for $2?
I mean, I'm gonna have to wait until I see it. Like, it's filming at the moment, so I don't know much about it beyond a few publicity stills that they've put out. So,
Douglas Nutt for 5. Has Jonas Freeman ever explained what a Christmas movie is? Can Critical decide this argument for us? I'm not of the belief that Die Hard is actually a Christmas movie. I think it is a movie that happens to take place at Christmas.
It's May, guys. Come on. Can we not wait till October?
He just wants to embarrass me in front of the guests. Yep.
Notice the wise man didn't say whether it is or not in the top left corner. He just knew. Let's let it be.
Yeah, we'll just leave it for now.
Caveat ties for 5. Will Han, Luke, and Leia show up in Mando and Grogu? Grok. That would be a better movie.
It's like, it's an in-joke from one of our open bars where someone's autocorrect just went a bit crazy and called it Mango and Grok instead of Mandalorian and Grogu.
That's great.
And we just kind of embraced it.
Andy Masterson for 2. Does Drinker need an action figure?
Naturally.
Who doesn't?
That would be a great
I've got a plushie already.
Let's see. BHPOV for 10 something. Drinker and Pro. We've been waiting for this collab for years.
Well, fantastic that we have the opportunity, and kudos to Drinker for taking the time to go onto other channels and to be supportive and to build up not only his content and his brand, but to create an entire ecosystem. It's really great what you're doing, Drinker, and we appreciate you.
And Snarky D for 5. I'm unaware there has been a bigger creator on the Pro Show. I am a huge bourbon fan. Thank you, Drinker.
Nice.
Is there a bigger creator, period? I mean, little alone the Pro Show, the man's got millions of subs, you know?
And
well, I do my best.
That is the end of the ones that literally call out Drinker by name, although I'm sure there's some comments there that people wish you'd weigh in on. So thank you so much for being here, Drinker.
No, thank you, guys. It was a pleasure to talk to you today, and I guess I'll see myself out.
Now, Drinker, before you go, for the 2 people out there who don't know, what's your schedule? What's the release? When should people be checking you out? Today, tomorrow, etc.?
So ideally, I put out content on my main channel on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can catch me on Open Bar on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is today, funnily enough. So I'll be going live in a few hours.
All right, well, fantastic stuff. We'll be tuning in, as will the world, leading the legacies and setting the new media ablaze. Drinker, thanks for coming our way, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Catch you later.
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro channel, thank you.
Even Hank agrees. Hey, get out of my nostrils.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, StreamYard.
But you know what is even better? Teddy D gifted 50 WDW Pro memberships. That's a lot of memberships.
Boy, StreamYard is determined. Teddy, we love you, man. That's why they call him 50 D. Wait a minute. Hold. Wait a minute. Didn't we tell Fitty D that this is the way we would never play the 4 back-to-back? Does that mean this was the end of the 4 seasons of Pedro?
Oh, that would be amazing if I never had to hear that ever again.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, as one star fades, another joins the panel. Christian Toto, welcome aboard, buddy.
Yeah, it's like George Carlin just left the stage and this open mic comedian just comes on.
Oh, give
replacing
me
the
a
drinker,
break.
man. This is crazy. But thank
Can
you.
you put on
me a
some
break.
sunglasses and do a Scottish accent? We'll even accept Irish.
It would be
You don't
funny
hear any of my accents. They're
if
all
you
terrible.
did that and latecomers came to the show not knowing, they'd be like, huh, I never knew Critical Drinker when he's not on the, his own channel. He looks that way, talks that way.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Fantastic. Glad to have you here, Christian.
Good to be here.
Was this by the way, was this baiting for me to talk like Morgan Freeman for a moment?
I
threw a little
believe
bit
it
in there.
was.
Yes, and I want to say thank you. Evil Ned for $10. I hope that troll won't be on today. My wife's parakeets are watching on a tablet. Every time Wilton shows up, they turn their backs and leave deposits on the cage floor trying to hit the screen. What kind of insanity?
Please save this. This is the greatest super chat ever. Animals literally defecate in mass when Wilton shows up. Oh, that makes me happy.
By the way, I think I owe you a phone call, Andy. Irate specialist for $2 for the Wilton only Rings of Power watch party. He can do that on his own channel. Why does he need to do that on ours?
Sounds like the pets can't handle it.
Yep. Floral from Under a Rock for $2 Canadian, 1,000 USD in my pocket, and Wilton will live react.
It's not worth it for the damage to households across America as pets, animals, cats, dogs, birds begin to defecate all over the place.
Let's see here. DL Racer for 10 Pro. I'm working on finishing my article for LinkedIn. I would invite you, Lauren, Jonas, Marv, and others to give it a read. I'm trying to get some motivation on highlighting bad business behaviors.
Fantastic, and looking forward to seeing your work. It's a real positive thing, I think, to get out there and to bring your wisdom and knowledge to the world.
Yep. And Snarky D, thank you again for the 10. And Stormweaver, wanted to come back around to this. Drinker was limited on time, but we really wanted to say thank you for the $50 super chat.
Stormweaver.
No, it can't be.
But it is. Stormweaver.
What are those?
These are my Spider-Man pajamas.
Let me rephrase that. Why are you wearing those?
Because my He-Man pajamas are in the laundry.
Love Balky. Lauren, would you tell the story real quick? The Stormweaver story from MegaCon.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it up then.
So we were leaving MegaCon and walking back to your vehicle when we heard somebody discussing something. I don't even remember what it was, but somebody exclaimed, "It can't be!" And both of us simultaneously went, "But it is!" and just about killed ourselves laughing on the way back.
But it is.
Let's see here. Doge Pal for $2, decanonize all of Disney Star Wars, bring back EU.
It would make money.
It would. Jason Lee for $2. I watched Mahler's short. Great work on the project. I missed this one. I'll see if I can send this to Drinker. Flying Blind on a rocket cycle for $5. Ahsoka may have been forgettable, but the Acolyte wasn't. Heck, I remembered it, and I didn't even watch it. Let's go, Dana. Review it and double the budget.
Oh, listen.
Oh, that would be a gift.
We would love, for reasons that are not kind or virtuous, we would love the Acolyte season 2 here.
Yeah, I mean, and who doesn't want to hear a Korean guy who barely speaks English looking around for the virgins? Darth Maul's lower half for €10. LF messed up all of Star Wars. The sequels destroyed the original trilogy characters. Kenobi destroyed that prequel character. Book of Boba Fett destroyed the Mando arc, and Acolyte destroyed the Jedi Order. It's not salvageable. Sounds like you and the Drinker agree. Let's see here. Stormweaver for $5 Canadian. Good afternoon, Pro.
Good afternoon to you, Stormweaver.
John R. Johns for 13. Member for 9. Sorry, my brain just filled in words on that one. Good afternoon, gentlemen. And he's got an Orioles logo on him.
Is that an Orioles? Yeah, it is an Orioles. Okay. Yeah. Look at that neon sign. I like it.
Yeah. I remember the Orioles because of Rockin' Robin. Ritasaurus for 5. If both Mando and Avengers Doomsday underperform, what will Disney do? Yeah, can Josh throw Iger, KK, and Feige under the bus? Sorry, he can. But what else could he do?
Okay. Well, hold on a second. Let's talk about this one because this matters. And all of them do. But there's a question here that needs to be asked. What does it mean for the Mandalorian to underperform? So, Lauren, that might be a you and Christian question, but this depends on the expectation. This is kind of like when investors go to an earnings call for a company and the stock goes up, even though the earnings call might be perceived as bad, but the expectation was worse. So then, right, what's the expectation? Like, if it makes 80, have we already been primed now to know that's what it's going to do? So everybody just goes, oh, okay, well, that's what Star Wars movies do now. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think it depends on the legs too, because I think the budget on this one is much smaller than past Star Wars movies. That's smart and it's helpful. And the expectations couldn't be any lower. The excitement couldn't be any lower. So I think a modest opening and a modest hold, I think that kind of staves off the Star Wars is dead for now. But again, they've been,
Okay, so shockingly,
did y'all
Christian,
talk about the Pedro Pascal kiss yet?
oh yeah, we've been there.
Oh man. What a way to get the guys to go see your movie, to slap a big old wet one on Stephen Colbert of all people.
Christian, we John Maddened that at the beginning. I mean, we really diagrammed it. You can't coach
Look at
that.
this guy.
Yeah. Now I regret that we didn't say you can't coach that. Christian, here's the thing I wonder.
Yeah.
Did the low performance of Superman, did it set up a precedent now where if it fails to make 500 million, people will be like, well, Superman only made 600. So this is not bad.
I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, then, the NCU, as it were, is just blowing the doors off of everything. So maybe it's just what we need to recalibrate. This is just a new normal in where Hollywood is. And these movies are just not going to be big films. They're going to have more modest rewards. And it's a loss, and it's self-inflicted wounds for sure. This didn't need to be. But everything about this Mandalorian release has just been meh. It's just
very meh.
It's not going unless there is something that they are hiding in the story that does blow the doors off. It's not going to have a hold because people are just going to wait for it to return on streaming.
Yeah.
For those who even care, and I think that number is much lower than it was, say, 4 years ago.
And this is why, Lauren, you think it may underperform the current projections, because your number that you often give is lower, and you know Star Wars better than anybody.
I'm saying 65 to 70, and I think that's. I don't think that they're. Here's why I'm thinking that way.
I think 90.
Disney has already decided that this movie is a failure. My belief up to this point was that they were pitting The Mandalorian and Grogu and Starfighter in a way against each other to try and see which approach does the audience respond to. They're no longer waiting. They've made a decision before The Mandalorian's even out. And that tells me they've got all of the data they need. They know this isn't going to work, and they no longer have time to wait. They have to start making the changes now.
Can I also point out that this is a Disney Plus series that I'm not saying this is the specific reason why they did it, but canceling Mandalorian season 4 and moving it over into the black box of theatrical revenue and losses moves it into an area where no one is watching how much this thing makes in a significant way. So no one gets on them no one asked them what their marketing budget was. No one asked them what the return on the actual revenue is on one of these films. No one has ever said, what cut of the box office are you getting? So this is almost a free movie because they had to get those losses off of the Disney Plus books in order to make that look profitable. So this is a place where $250 million on a quarterly basis actually makes a huge difference. So this is almost a free movie, and it's almost an apology. They have to do something with it. So this is a great movie to throw under the bus from a business perspective, other than the fact that it proves that no one really cares. I mean, when was the last time we had a movie of a TV show, straight movie of a TV show, not that they just put the finale in theaters like they're now doing with The Boys? When was the last time that happened? Was it Serenity?
The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy, but that's a reboot.
Yeah, but you asked when's the last time they made a movie of a TV series, and I would
no,
argue
as in the ending. Like Serenity is not well.
Oh gosh,
right.
this is not often that they. Yeah, I want to say this too about the super chat. This is the joy of the super chats here on the channel. We tend to try to spend more time on super chats that come in with more money, and that's not because we're trying to pick favorites. It's just oftentimes when somebody spends $50, we feel obliged. But you never know, folks, whether it's the 199s or the 5s, you never know when somebody's going to bring up something that there's an angle there that it could be its own segment.
Yeah.
And we see it and we just say, oh my gosh, we need to talk about this. Like, because the expectation being set up for Mando actually determines whether the narrative is that it underperformed, and they're already bringing that expectation down so that it's very difficult for it to underperform in the eyes of the public.
The one thing we're going to talk about, I don't think, is Jon Favreau as the director here. I mean, he has mostly a golden touch. Listen, Cowboys and Aliens was a bust, but he's done some great movies, Swingers, Iron Man, Elf. I mean, this is not just a generic director, but he also hasn't done much of late. He's been behind the scenes, maybe pulling some strings. I know he was involved with Mandalorian, the TV series, but does he still have any magic in his hat? And also, for a while I thought that they were going to sneak in a Gina Carano cameo in the film to
Should
kind of
have
get some interest. And Carano said that she talked to Favreau and Maloney, and they had a preliminary discussion, but that could be a feint as well. I mean, might be a way to kind of get curry some good favor to this project. I don't know.
I still say if Luke shows up, it's worth $200 million at the box office. I still say if Gina shows up, it's worth $100 million at the box office. But I get the indications maybe that neither of those are going to happen, and this is going to feel like a very long Mandalorian episode. Yeah. And if that's the case, and if there are no stakes, then I think this thing bombs the box office. But they have the option, even to this day, to fix it. Anyway, they're running out of time. They got till tomorrow. Good luck, boys.
Irate specialist for $2 for the birds. I'm choosing to view this as a reference to Norm Macdonald on the roast of Bob Saget.
Oh my! Did you watch that too again?
Oh man,
that is the funniest thing and the bravest. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get sidebarred by this, but if you have not seen Norm Macdonald at the roast of Bob Saget, everybody comes in and they're blue, right? It's profane, obviously, and Saget was this kind of guy. Norm Macdonald, who I think is one of the funniest comics of all time, Norm Macdonald was smart enough and brave enough to think, what if I come in and I run for 5 minutes dad jokes, terrible. And if he had done it over the top, it would have been mildly funny and people would have chuckled. But what made it brilliant is he did it straight. And even though the audience, it's crickets, even though that happens, it's about 3 minutes into total discomfort when you realize this is on purpose and this is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
And Bob Saget is crying. He's laughing so hard.
Oh, well, Gilbert Gottfried too. Like everyone who is understanding what he's doing is like it's a deep. I'm not supposed to be laughing at this kind of laugh, which is honestly the best kind of laughter. The laughter you're not supposed to have. I can almost never endorse a segment from a roast, but it is 100% clean. So yeah,
and it's one of the bravest things you'll ever see a comedian knowing I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be genuinely unfunny, and the audience won't get it. And he knows it, and he owns it. But my gosh, is it funny? We would play it if possible. There's no way we can get away with it, but go watch it, folks.
By the way, losing Gilbert and Norm just in a few years,
oh, wow.
Just brutal. And obviously Bob Saget as well.
Yeah.
But those two worked on a whole different level. They were just amazing.
The thing about Norm Macdonald is, even if the joke's not funny, because in this case, he's intentionally doing that and nobody knows it until 3 minutes in. But even if the joke's not funny, he made things funny. There's nobody who could do a delivery like him.
Right. He screws up the delivery on purpose or explains the punchlines of his joke. It is unbelievably funny, but it's also not funny in the way that he's not telling a joke. Well, actually, there was a couple in there that were a little bit funny, but he's not telling the joke in a way that you're laughing at the joke itself. You're laughing at the situation that he's creating for the audience for 8 minutes of television straight, that's an eternity, which is almost as long as we've been on this $2 super chat. Is almost as if we were making.
Let me add 12 more seconds. The other thing about Norm Macdonald, is most people didn't know he was passing away from cancer, and he went out and told a joke while passing away with cancer and said, people say that you died of cancer. I don't think that's true. Cancer never beats you. You always fight cancer to a draw. You take it down with you. And he did this monologue on that on a I forget what show it was. May have been Seth Meyers, but he did that. And they go back and realize he's dying of cancer and he's mocking cancer and with a smile on his face. Man, that is impressive.
Yep. Snarky D gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
The Fudgedora has returned. Oh, wait, no, that's a top hat.
We need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Thank you, Snarky.
I'm wondering now, does Snarky have multiple accounts, or is he really? I think that's the third, maybe fourth hat this live stream.
He did about 20 yesterday.
Just a Dutchie, member for 11 months. Would you look at this? Almost an anniversary, something off topic. Is there an update on Kevin Apollo and his recovery?
Lauren?
I haven't spoken to him for a few days. I know that Marvin has. Last I heard, he was getting his energy back, and I know that he's active on Twitter again. But I haven't spoken to him personally. I don't know if he'll be back on the show tomorrow night or not. But I need to reach out to him and make sure that he's doing all right. Last time I talked to him, I think was a week ago Monday.
One of the amazing things about Kevin Apollo, who hosts the Lauren and Apollo show, is he looks like he is in absolute peak physical condition, and he is. But people who are of his stature, people who are very mountainous men, can have some health issues that, those who are short of stature may not. But Kevin Apollo is a huge beast of a man, and we're looking forward to him being back very, very soon.
Yep. And I'm never going to say a ill word against Kevin, because he's huge. Good Time Charlie for $10. Forget Minnesota. The greatest fraud being committed in the U.S. is the Georgia film tax credit.
Yeah.
Yep. Billions being laundered to Hollywood every year while Georgians get nothing in return.
We covered this. $4 billion. $4 billion with no strings attached given to Hollywood studios. You don't even have to make the film in Georgia. Just sign the dotted line. Here's some money. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
But just wait. Because if those California candidates get their way, no more caps on the tax credits in California. Look out. Look out.
First Dragon Queen for $5. Stranger Things. I kind of think they might be doing things with Ahsoka with Gina, but that's longer than this super chat. That would be a great move on their part. To where does that take place in the timeline?
What, Ahsoka?
In the timeline.
I guess it is in the. I mean, she's only been around since the prequel trilogy era. Forgive me on that one. Sorry, that's not me getting on you guys. Like, what a ridiculous.
And they're probably doing reshoots.
I'll just say, whatever Rosario Dawson is, don't crack. I rate Specialist for $2. Nope, it's for the Wilton pooing birds. Oh, well, I apologize for the long conversation on Norm Macdonald that no one asked for except for me. Fixing franchises for $5. I can fix Star Wars. I can't make it any worse than it is. Man, unless it goes to Kurtzman. I also wonder how long until Filoni is out. It seemed like you were winding up for something there, bro. Sorry.
Actually, I was trying to get Christian back on the panel. I clicked a button. He went away, and I said, well, we're going to fix that. And it just happened to be at the end of the super chat.
Hey, was it something I said?
No, never, ever, ever. Folks, we can't wait to endeavor with you and to explain Holly Weird. And Christian is just the guy to do so, because it turns out YouTube is dominating all of the other studios. I guess YouTube isn't not technically a studio, but it's dominating the Hollywood studios and the streamers in ways that we didn't even understand. Samba TV has it. Let's go there right now. There is a domination occurring right now across entertainment, and the new media is winning bigly. What do we got? Well, out of Samba TV, they have this. And by the way, Samba TV and Nielsen, they're the two that we consider to be authoritative in the space when it comes to ratings. Nielsen has pulled some tricks as of late with Disney in the way that they count their ratings, and that's fine. We understand it. We break it down. Samba measures things differently than Nielsen, and we recognize that, and we always explain, parse out how that works. But take a look at this chart. This is absolutely insane to us. It says $2 billion in content equals 1% of TV attention in terms of the market, right? The market share. Now, look at how these companies are doing. And we're going to start off with YouTube. And YouTube starts off the whole thing with an asterisk that will matter, okay? So YouTube spends $13 billion for 13.1% of the market share of streaming. Now, first of all, just look at the percentage now. YouTube has 13.1. Disney, the next level is 9.7%. And this is not based on just like being on Disney Plus or Hulu. This is based on who made the thing in the first place. Okay, so if Disney shows up on YouTube, it gets counted for Disney. So YouTube is spending $13 billion to dominate with a 4% lead over anybody else. But hold on a second. The asterisk really matters. Go to the bottom with me to the fine print. And what does it say? It says CTV only. What's the CTV only? Well, CTV only means connected TVs only. That's all that's getting counted here. So YouTube is getting 13.1%. But if we only count connected TVs, what about non-connected TVs? What about phones? What about tablets? What about computers? If you start counting across all the platforms, the YouTube numbers go bonkers. YouTube, the new media, individuals across the US of A and beyond are winning versus Hollywood. Fox, of course, has 9 billion, 6.7%. Netflix at 17 billion, earning 8.7%. Paramount spending 15 billion for 7.1. There are some ones that are interesting to me as outliers. Apple is spending $7 billion, right, $7 billion for 0.4% of the market share. Apple is spending $20 billion per percentage of market share that they would gain. And so that right column is what we need to look at because it's the efficiency. But remember this, okay, on the efficiency. So if Disney is spending $3 billion for every 1% of the market share they have in streaming, YouTube's at 1 billion, 1/3 of Disney. So they're 3 times more efficient. But that's only considering connected TVs. If we had everything, YouTube may be operating at like 1/10, right? 10 times the efficiency of Disney and the others. Because content creators, it turns out, are often making stuff for YouTube for free. Panel, I'll hand it to you guys any way you want to slice this, but it looks to me like the system that works is democratizing entertainment and offloading the content creation to content creators all over the globe. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, this should scare Hollywood silly. And, you know, wildly anecdotally speaking, that's where when I go to bed at night, I have my iPad and I watch YouTube almost always. I'm sure I'm not alone. But it's all these different, I mean, it pulls together existing content, which is obviously sort of partially reflected here. But yeah, I mean, having it disconnected from TVs is the whole ball game in a sense. I mean, it's just the way we consume content. And much of this content is being made at a incredibly small price point. And that's where Hollywood is really the most vulnerable because everything they do is extremely expensive, antiquated, filled with unions and permits and all sorts of nonsense, where content creators, if they've got wit and sophistication and something to share, they do it at a fraction of the cost. It's just everything's working for YouTube and against the studios.
But so those lines also seem to be creating a larger delta, Christian. So it seems like it's getting more expensive to make things in Hollywood, and it seems like it's getting less expensive to make things outside of Hollywood. So we have these diverging points that actually, I think, are going to lead to a quicker extinction when it comes to most of these studios.
I can't argue with that. I mean, the one possible solution is AI and using all the things that AI can do to drastically reduce the production costs. And it's one of the reasons why I think late night is going to die really quickly is because it's just too darn expensive. And if you could follow a comedian or 3 who's funny and engaging and quick-witted versus Jimmy Kimmel and his ilk at those massive bloated budgets, at some point, even ABC is going to say, I don't want to keep losing all this money.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you too, guys, I'm kind of shocked that YouTube's even spending, $1 billion per percentage. I don't know what they're spending on. I don't know is YouTube subsidizing to some degree Mr. Beast?
Actually,
I don't know about that.
Well, no, it's not Mr. They actually are announcing some content spend that they're doing, which is funny because they're talking about it as if it's the first time that they did that, which is not true because they are the originators of Cobra Kai. So
what are they spending on right now, Jonas? Do you have any idea? I don't want to put you on the spot. But
it's somewhere in the research list for the websites. They're actually helping to pay for certain creators to put original content on the platform. It's the first time it's ever been done, except that they've done it before.
Well, can we sign up for that? I'd like some free money. Bring me that free money, please.
I like money, please.
But what's the incentive for YouTube to do that? It feels like the existing system's working quite well for them.
I would say it's probably some kind of a PR move to make creators happy on the platform. The big creators, the creators that they approve of, the creators that would play well if maybe when the next party gets into office, they can say, "Oh, we'll bring in the YouTubers. Look how important we are. Don't put regulations on us."
Would this also include? I think YouTube has some deals with sports leagues. Does that include this? Maybe.
Oh man. So the sports league stuff, maybe. Yeah. That would make sense. Speaking of which, Netflix is getting into sports. It's going to really pee in Disney's cornflakes there. So,
see, the thing I'm thinking about is YouTube is spending on third parties. Like they're spending for sports contracts. They're spending to host movies, maybe on YouTube itself. But all these other companies, they're having to put into production, right? These are production costs for them. And it's a totally different dynamic. And I think what it's proven to everybody, because YouTube is leading the way, and not by a little bit, it looks worse than it is for YouTube as number one, because we're limiting this to only, one type of device, the connected smart TV. But the democratization method, I think, is the real winner here. The idea that there are geniuses in every state. There are geniuses in every country. And all you have to do is empower them and they'll make stuff. I do think that YouTube is missing one component, though. YouTube tends to be, what have you made for me lately? So people tune into channels. What have you made in the last 24 hours? What have you made in the last 48 hours? And it's this constant churn. And most of the content gets forgotten. That's not how Disney works. That's not how Netflix works. There is that constant production. But people are going back, 10, 20 years, and in the case of Disney, 100 years to look at content. I think that needs to be solved for YouTube to, truly dominate. Is if people are going to make movies and TV shows, it needs to be able to be found, and the algorithm doesn't permit that right now.
That's a great point. Really great point.
Lauren, your thoughts on the domination of YouTube, and maybe even how Hollywood, up until now, Hollywood didn't even want to admit that they were competing against YouTube. This is kind of new.
The major advantage that YouTube has in my eyes is that they're not really having to negotiate with talent. If you want to broadcast on YouTube, you come to them, and there's no agent that you're negotiating with. You're not setting the rate at which you will produce content. They're telling you what they will pay you when you hit their metrics, and that's a distinct advantage that they have. And I think it makes it really powerful for them, because they can adjust that at will if they want to.
One of the things I assume that they don't like about YouTube is it has that box office effect. So if I host something on Disney Plus as Disney, I don't have to disclose almost anything. And the idea that the normies are going to see the ratings, normies aren't going to Nielsen. They don't care. They're not checking Samba TV. So nobody knows what's popular, what's not popular. If I go to the box office, right, those numbers get exposed. And that percolates its way into the normies' attention span. The same thing is true of YouTube. Like YouTube publicly gives you that identifier of, millions of people are watching this, or 15 people watch this. And I think that's the danger for the studios is at the same time, the visibility really, I think, drives YouTube. People appreciate that transparency, but the studios are all terrified of that because there's an instant fact check on whether or not they're popular or whether or not this is a flop. And that to them, I think, is a temperature check they don't want to go through. All right, panel, any final thoughts before we move right along?
They look at the amount of money that Apple is spending on content and that $7 billion that they're spending. They're making that back in accidental subscription revenue on a huge factor. So this is a kind of a funny thing is Apple is a hobbyist in the space, and they're actually doing quite well. And the content seems to have outlived the arms race of prestige content at the other actual studios out there. Funny that Comcast is listed as Comcast and not Universal.
Exactly. All right, Jonas, it looks like we've hit yet another extraordinary goal, the greatest community online. That means we're going to have to find the time to make an intro for one of our panelists real soon. Who will it go to? It'll be a surprise. But last night we hit the goal, 50 super chats. That means I'm going to go see Sheep Detective this weekend. I'm going to eat crow, Christian. Have you seen the movie?
No, I didn't give it much thought, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's a wonderful family film by all accounts. So I'm looking
same thing. I dismissed it, and now I have to eat crow because I've got to go see it, review it, and put it out there for the channel. 1 week late.
Snarky D for $5. Cheers to the chat. Together we are a huge force, the greatest collection of positivity and power. And then, well, not and then, but before that, gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you very much, Snarky D.
Just don't call us Strike Force 5. That's all.
Folks, when we do that story on the Star Wars Scoop back on May 3rd, and when it gets, oh gosh, I don't know, 30 million views now on Geeks and Gamers, and lots and lots of views here on the channel, and people are responding to it, and Power and Disney, this stuff starts leaking. Just know, the only way we get to do that, the only way we get to make those effects is because of you. This community powers us and feeds the radioactive hamsters, sending the signals across the US of A.
Alrighty, let's see what else we got here. First Dragon Queen for 5-2. I do believe they'll X off Mando because of Pedro, which is sad. They could have done so much with just having him hunt bounties without Grogu. So here's the thing. They also killed Boba Fett, but look where we are on that one.
They can retire Mando for 5 or 6 years and recast him. This will not be difficult if they want to bring him back without Pedro.
Well, he also is out there saying, I'm going to keep playing this character forever, right before the movie comes out.
Disney's got to love it. Hey, could you please wipe out any tension at all that you'll die in this movie? Please, we need one more reason for people not to go on opening weekend.
Yeah, I'm reminded of every time there was a new season of 24, Kiefer Sutherland hinted hard that he wanted out of the job. So the first Dragon Queen for 5. I'll do math eventually. Yes, I know a lot of the lore. Lorne knows I will rant. Lorne knows I will rant. I'm rusty a little, but I do know it. And you show it.
True.
Let's see here. We already got you there, Snarky D. And then Teddy D for 5. Goal.
What's the name of those instruments that they play that are so...
Are you about to compare me to a vuvuzela?
Yeah, we're not going to add those as emojis or anything like that here on the channel, I promise.
Anyways. Cybershock for $5. If he gets rid of Tiana's Bayou Adventure and puts Splash Mountain back, that would be a good start.
I don't think that's going to happen, but the president of Walt Disney World is suddenly retiring, and I'm going to say that maybe the decisions that were made to destroy Rivers of America and so much more might have been super unpopular. Who knew?
Oh, man. They had the guy tear out the Rivers of America. I wonder whose idea that was, because if it wasn't Jeff Valley's idea, yikes, what did they make that guy do before he quits the company, retires?
Hey, buddy, we need you to destroy the last thing Jim Henson ever worked on, and then we're going to blame it on you, and you're going to retire. Have fun.
That's like firing the HR rep at the end of a long day of layoffs. It's like, irate specialist for 5. Many content creators are owned by companies like Blackstone. YouTube isn't just dealing with everyday creators; they're dealing with huge companies. I turned down the offer from Blackstone.
Yeah, I suspect that's BlackRock because Blackstone makes grills.
No, there is a company called Blackstone. Ray Dalio is the principal there. So I don't know what the relationship between Blackstone and BlackRock is, but Blackstone actually predicted the economic downturn in 2007 before it.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that after Jonas cost us the Vanguard sponsorship, we're having to make money in new ways.
I'm still working.
Hello there and hi there from Quick Buck Comics.
I'm not showing my feet.
We've been watching as companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, and Universal all universally suck. And then we watched as companies like Rippaverse and Big Man Comics came in to save the day. That's when we realized we could make crappy comics and do it the cheap way by not doing the hard work that Rippaverse and Big Man Comics were doing. We've got characters like John Maynard, William Thompson, and Staccato DDS. Why? Because we stole them from the WDW Pro audience. Because making characters is hard. And by the end of every comic, you get to draw your own panels. Why? Because art is hard. But please, folks, when you're done, make sure to buy our coffee that's made by someone else with our label slapped on it. Why? You guessed it. Making coffee is hard.
People are going to think that's a current clip. That's been on the channel for months, if not years.
Years. It's almost as if, Jonas, we have the prescience to know what's going to happen before it manifests.
Yeah, that's a charge. Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle for 5. So is your new intro going to be a Wiltonathon meme? Do we not have the new intro on yet?
Yeah, it's new. We got it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you're there.
Well,
He's been cited by. Jonas, people don't believe that's your voice, though. They think it's somebody else. Could you do that voice?
He's been cited by the Hollywood in Toto podcast. What do we do in here?
Where else should you want to be cited by? Once you've hit that, folks, you've hit the mother lode. The lottery has been achieved.
Yeah.
All right. Well, big
Decided
cheeses.
by Lauren Connor.
It's time to dive in. Let's talk about the Odyssey. That's on fire, eh? Everybody up for that?
Sure.
No way we'll have conflict there. Hollywood is in full defense mode when it comes to The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. Of course, we did not consider that there would be a war between Elon Musk and Christopher Nolan. That wasn't on the bingo card for this year, but it's here. And now Variety has stepped in. But I'm going to tell you, I think they've stepped in. I don't think they understand the market. So either they're trying to poke the bear or they just don't get society at large. Marvin Montanaro writing this one. Variety defends The Odyssey. And how did they do it? By comparing it to Snow White, Disney Star Wars, and Rings of Power. Bold move, Cotton. Says Variety is running defense for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey after days of online backlash surrounding the film's controversial casting choices and increasingly bizarre production decisions. But in an attempting to shield the move from criticism, the entertainment outlet may have accidentally reinforced exactly why so many fans are concerned in the first place. In a lengthy opinion piece published this week, Variety writer Marlo Stern framed criticism of The Odyssey as nothing more than another chapter in Hollywood's ongoing cultural battle, war battle. War battle? Okay, we'll go with that. The article opened with the following line, quote, from the team that brought you Why is Snow White Latina? Why are there black people in Rings of Power? And Star Wars has gone woke, comes the latest online onslaught against an anticipated Hollywood project that committed the unfathomable sin of having a diverse cast. Now, I don't know if they're trying to destroy this film or what. Variety goes after Elon Musk, but listen, there are ways to defend. This is the worst of them. If you gave me 100 choices on how to stop this, this would be at the bottom in every possible way. Christian, why in the world would the trades cite Zegler? That's a public failure. You can pretend with Rings of Power. You can, nobody knows the ratings. But everybody on this earth knows Zegler is a bust. So why must they do the comparison?
It's a head scratcher. I will say that Marlo Stern is a name I recognize. I think he may have been writing for the Daily Beast at one point. He is a hard left ideologue. So he just may be kind of going guns a-blazing and got the permission of his editors to put out this content. It is shocking. Listen, if I want to defend the movie, I would say Nolan's got a great track record as a right-leaning person. You know, movies like The Dark Knight Rises weren't exactly liberal in any sense of the word, and you have to trust him. But I think we've also seen artists who are within the Hollywood ecosystem, even if they're right or center right or just plain old center, they drift. And I wouldn't be shocked to see if Nolan is drifting a little bit to the left with some of these casting decisions. Also, we don't know everything yet, and a lot of it is still shrouded in mystery. So I think we should kind of, hold our powder dry for a while. But spider senses are tingling, and I can't blame them for doing that because this is something's coming here. And maybe Variety knows more than we do about the finished product. Maybe that's why they're going to the
that's a good
battle stations.
Well, Christian, what do you think about because some people are saying that this is the only way for him to make a film that's about the start of Western civilization. This is the only way for him to make it award capable, right?
It's very possible. I mean, a guy like Nolan is going to have his favorites. He's going to have his favorite crew members, and it's possible they don't check those identity politics boxes. And maybe this is how he's going to do it. That's a very real possibility.
Well, boys, we got to go to an authoritative source in all this, okay?
Oh, no.
Sorry, Lauren. I'm sorry, Christian. Jonas, I'm sorry for you too, mostly for you. We don't have it here, okay? We're not the kind of experts to weigh in. Mm-hmm. How about The View? Literally, folks, within just a short period of time before the show, well, actually during the show, The View weighed in on The Odyssey. Here's what The View has to say about Christopher Nolan and people like Elon Musk.
There is no audio, so this is the best View clip we've ever played.
True. Restart it. Audio on the way in 3. Good grief, Fox News. I can't grab the audio because every time I do, it moves it on me. All right, hang on.
You know that scholars have
There we go.
racism rears its ugly head often on, and more often now than ever, I think, in our country. But if you are a student of history, you know that scholars have debated for decades the extent to which Greek mythology and civilization were influenced by ancient Egypt and North Africa. It is very clear that Andromeda is described.
Hold on a second. I'm not a learned man. Okay, I'm not learned. I think that's how you say it. I wasn't aware that the Egyptians were of darker skin color.
Well, only when Eddie Murphy plays them.
I'm so confused, right? Continue on, Sonny.
Described as an Ethiopian princess. We have Othello, the Moor. The Greeks, this idea was also explored in a book called Black Athena. I think people should read it, which argues that classical Greek culture is heavily indebted to Afro-Asiatic and Near Eastern roots. I actually taught Greek mythology to 8th graders. And so
Well, by golly, when I said she was an authority, I didn't know. To all the 8th graders out there who were more learned than we, congratulations on Miss Sunny being your teacher.
Oh my goodness!
this. Fun fact. So people.
Oh no, Jonas, we're not done. Don't hop
there's
in
more.
yet.
Okay,
there's
okay.
more
Right.
sunshine.
I thought she was done.
That are saying that Helen of Troy could not possibly be played by a black woman don't know history.
But what does it matter? Why not just not go with the movie?
It's like when the Little Mermaid and there was this whole uproar. Like Elon Musk has multiple companies valued at over $1 trillion. How do you even have the time to worry about this?
Yeah.
But he also said that Christopher Nolan, one of the finest directors of our time, I would argue, just wants the awards. He's got plenty of awards.
He
I don't
sure
think
does.
he
Okay, there you go. All right,
So
what do you guys
dumb.
want to do with that one? You want to have fun with that one?
That's fantastic. First of all, that they're white knighting for Christopher Nolan, and at this point, like, okay, great.
They really
Sure.
taught us a lesson.
Marvin Montanaro pointed out in his article that the literal translation of how Helen of Troy is described is white armed, and that is a frequent term used in the Odyssey, talking about these women. So, okay, so I guess if we're getting literalist and trying to say that Athenians and Trojans can be black, then they have to have white arms.
So-
this is silly, and this is trying to turn a call for historical accuracy on some level, or even suspension of disbelief, to try to turn that into a race issue that is about excluding people. It's not about excluding people. It's about not being ridiculous. It's about calling out virtue signaling. You know, nobody likes to be told that they are wrong for not liking something. If you taste test something and somebody says, by the way, I'm going to be really mad at you if you don't like this, there's no chance that you're going to like it, but you may say that you like it. Forcing people into enjoying something is the worst way to get them to enjoy something.
So, a couple of points here. First of all, the man who lands rockets and transforms the electric car industry essentially makes it actually be. You might like him, you might dislike him. I think he probably has an angle here. I think there's a strategy, and I think he's probably of higher intellect than the View. So I'm going to wait and see what Elon's up to. I think he's got a strategy here. The other thing I'll say is that Hollywood has created a system with this awards thing and the quotas and all of this stuff where the only thing that is considered not diverse are straight white dudes. And all we have to do is just think, okay, if you do a historical film or a mythological film set in Greece, you have to have people in that film who don't look like you would anticipate ethnically from that time period. But to show that the double standard that's been created by the system, let's say you had a film about Uganda, for example, and let's say that you decided, well, we're going to have Sydney Sweeney play a role in Uganda. The uproar would be incredible. So it doesn't take much to figure out that this is just a system that has been created it's illogical, and as a foundation of illogic, it takes us to these places, and then the View is forced to defend it with total crazy harpy nonsense.
Couple thoughts. One, listen, you need to put Zendaya in this film because she barely works. I haven't seen her in years. So we need to kind of make sure that she's employed. That's one thing. Also, if you notice at the very beginning, I don't think we even focused on it. Sonny Hassan was saying that basically racism is worse today than ever before, which is as maniacal a statement as maybe has ever been uttered on The View. And that's saying something. It reminded me a little bit of John Mellencamp was on Bill Maher's podcast a year or two ago. And he's like, by and large, blacks have it as bad during the slavery days today as ever before. I mean, just this sort of insane thinking about culture and race is an abomination. It really is. I mean, it's doing harm to the country. It's just, I mean, what could be more hurtful to America than saying that the black rights have not had any progress in I don't know how many decades? I mean, it's so categorically dumb, even by the View standards.
And so to cite, I think this is apropos for what we're talking about. It's societal Sisyphus, right? So the idea is no matter how much progress you make, the boulder rolls back down the hill.
Yeah.
So if you try to aim for better race relations, we'll just self-destruct all that and start over again. And that's the message from the Hollyweirds. They never credit, good people, hardworking people who are better than them. And this is what we learned in the Me Too era. This is what we learned in the Believe All Women era. When Hollywood suddenly discovered morality and then in about 24 hours created their own system of morality that was superior to all other forms, and then looked down their nose at everybody who was acting better for the last 50 years, right? The farmer in Nebraska didn't have a special couch. He just went out and did what was right every single day, but Hollywood looks down and poorly upon him. So I think you're exactly right, Christopher. I think it's insidious what they do, right?
Christian,
it's insidious. I don't know what I said. Christian, it's insidious what they do in that they reset any progress that we make, and they demand more and more.
The thing that they keep going for, and the made up morality thing, I wonder if Me Too kind of broke the entire system in Hollywood, that they all of a sudden realized they needed to have a moral code, but I'd say something that always hacks off the audience, but they don't have a moral code. They don't have God telling them what their morals need to be. So they're trying to come up with their own morals on their own. But it's such a kind of twisted place that all they've got is calling people out. And there's no system of redemption that they've got there, especially with Marxism and race relations and all that. There's, to say that race relations now are somehow worse than what they were pre-Civil War in the United States, or the freeing of slaves across the world by Western nations. Yes, Western nations fought hard to get rid of slavery globally. In fact, invading other countries to get rid of it. So to try to say that before all of that was somehow comparable to some people being all up in their feels because of microaggressions is just patently absurd, and frankly, it should be offensive.
Also, I want to take this time to hand this particular topic to Lauren because he may have the least to lose in this. Lauren, if you fumble this, we'll just bring you back in about 3 months once the fury dies down. Lauren, there's also the issue of a traditionally masculine character being played by somebody who is perhaps not perceived that way today. Is that the best way I can put that?
I suppose.
Lauren, what do you think that this is kind of, it's sort of a trap too, right? This is begging for conservatives and centrists to weigh in a way that will draw out controversy for whatever reason. I mean, the Page situation, I think, is made just for this.
Yeah, and I think an argument could be made that maybe that's factored into why they're doing it. If part of the argument is that it's to make them eligible for the award shows and things like that because of the practices of those award shows. Another factor is you've got to somehow differentiate yourself in the advertising. Some of that is generating controversy. Not that I think Christopher Nolan needs a lot of help to advertise his movies, but the old saying is any press is good press. And what they're getting right now is us talking about it, The View talking about it, a lot of people talking about it. Maybe if you're not familiar with the classics, this is a way to get you interested in this movie that if you're not familiar with the story.
Lauren, hold on. All press is not good press. Zegler got a lot of press, and now this is what this is being compared to. Zegler got a lot of press, and it didn't change the box office. It may have hurt the box office, so I don't know if that's true anymore.
Yeah, also, this is a movie that had a lot of, almost uniformly goodwill heading toward its release date. It's Christopher Nolan. We've been, getting teases of it, the cast revelations. Everything about this has been full steam ahead. This movie will do quite well. Maybe not Oppenheimer well, but Christopher Nolan movies are now an event. And anything he does at this point is going to be huge. And I don't think they needed any of this. I think this is a huge distraction.
Yeah, I agree that it's a giant distraction. And the main question that I keep wrestling with in this conversation is, being as you would assume this would be a surefire hit no matter what, it's not worth the awards to me to tank your movie and your reputation. So what's the reasoning? I don't think that being eligible for the award shows is a sufficient reason for wanting to do this, but I'm struggling to come up with any explanation that fits.
Now, listen, it's not just being available for the awards. It's when a movie is Oscar nominated or even in the mix, the marketing, the exposure, the gravitas in Hollywood is profound. So if, like the one View idiot said, oh, he's got all the awards, so it doesn't matter. No, it totally matters. Christopher Nolan may be a very nice fellow, but he wants to be in the award mix every time he has a movie out. Absolutely. And if his movie's not in that mix, then it feels like a defeat in some way. He's expected to be making a consequential film every 2 or 3 years. And that matters. It's publicity, it's marketing, it's money, it's clout, it's gravitas, it's everything.
All right, Jonas J. Campbell, the superstars are out there, and let's see what they have to say.
All right, let's see here. KB Hugs for $5. You guys didn't tell the drinker to go away now. Go away now.
Believe it.
Yep. England DG for $5. She taught Greek pathology. She taught Greek mythology in the 8th grade. You know what? I think I was in the 8th grade when I was taught Greek mythology. It's not the deepest understanding there. She does know pathology means the study of disease, right? Just use the multi-syllable word and all sound schmert. Her husband's the doctor, right? And she's a lawyer, so she must be smart. She's got all these like certifications and everything, dude. DEFCON Prime for $5. Them. Helen can be black. They don't know history. Me. But what about source material for Snape, Man-at-Arms, Wally West? Isn't that hypocritical? Them. Racist. And then England at GG for $2. I don't care what anyone says. Cleopatra was black. Going back to the Netflix model, anyone can be black if you hand wave it enough, including April O'Neil. England DG for $5 more. My daughter is half black. Her favorite media she mostly consumes is Japanese. Well, that sounds familiar. I don't think representation moves the needle. Good stories do. Yeah. And the popularity of other cultures' content here in the United States, I think, proves that it's really just that the content here doesn't move the needle very well. I don't think there's ever been any issues. You think about the fact that Denzel Washington played Hamlet recently, and a few people might have chuckled or made a couple of jokes, but I don't think anyone hated that production because it was Denzel Washington and he was playing Hamlet. So in this, no one wants to be told they're evil for not being into something.
And by the way, we've had 2 decades of Fast and Furious movies with the most diverse cast humanly possible, and I've yet to hear a single syllable complaining about the forced diversity of that franchise. It just doesn't exist.
That's very true. And I think with the Fast and Furious franchise, because I never know what to call it, the joke is that they're a family, but it's a found family. So it's not a very Marxist film, but that is something that the Marxists really like to push. I wonder if there's it's a little too what's the word, thirsty of a film for the Marxists to really like that one.
And I'll say this too. So it's always interesting, the pushback, the auto pushback, because it's so easy. It's the lowest resolution answer they can give. Is always racism, which is what The View is doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, girls, guys, my favorite actor of the modern era is Denzel Washington. Like if Denzel's in a movie, I'm going to go see it because I think he is just phenomenal. Probably my favorite vocalist of the last century is Ray Charles. I love to listen to Ray Charles music. I love his albums that are just him on the piano, like Genius After Hours. I mean, and Halle Berry, I think, is one of the most beautiful women of the past century, right? To be in any movie, and a great actress as well. It's like, people, we're there.
Yeah.
We love all kinds of, Ke Kwan, put him in every Marvel movie, throw him in Star Wars. He's the greatest thing too. He's like pure joy It's not about that sort of thing. It's about, okay, this is a period piece and it's based on this certain time. We all know that it's logical. And the moment that you start to say, what are they up to, is when they throw all logic away and say, we're ready for a purely emotional argument now. Would you like to join us on that? And it's like, no, I think I'll pass. Thank you.
I'll throw one more in there. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Christian.
I would say it just takes you out of the experience. When you're watching a period film and all of a sudden there's this forced casting that doesn't make sense, all of a sudden you're not thinking about the movie or the characters or the arc or anything. You're thinking about, oh, look what Hollywood did.
Right. The other thing I'll throw in here is when Vanessa Williams played Calypso on the Armando Sante Odyssey, no one minded because because Vanessa Williams in that era. I mean, she had it going on. If I'm not implying this well enough, so no one cared.
Oh Lord! If only the audience knew what you're snickering about right now. Oh, behind the scenes.
All right. Pro, you ready to do a story, or do you need me to hold down the fort for a few minutes?
Jonas, I've been waiting all my life for this. May I clear the super chats from behind the scenes? Jonas?
Unleash the deluge, please.
All right. The deluge is gone, and now we can't lose, but Star Wars can. I can't believe we're back to this, but here we go. Let's go back to KK's miserable failure of a franchise. That's right, folks. You're seeing this correctly. Sean is gone. And look at that lady down there. Loves moments. Well, now that's an interesting ad. Is that Denise Richards? No, that's maybe AI Denise Richards. Good to see you, lady. It's Sean Levy appears to be moving on from Lucasfilm after Star Wars Starfighter, This on That Park Place, written by Trevor Dinning. And wouldn't you know it, this guy has headed on out of Lucasfilm. It says, now that Star Wars Starfighter is deep into post-production, director Sean Levy appears to be moving on from Lucasfilm. Variety reports that Levy has lined up his next project at Netflix somewhere out there. I thought that was a song from Fievel. An original science fiction film based on a spec script by Max Taxe? Who knows? The film is reportedly an emotional story about a grieving father who receives messages from the stars. It says Levy's quick pivot away from Star Wars, however, may signal a broader shift under Lucasfilm's new leadership when it comes to managing fan expectations around future projects. Former Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy brought in Sean Levy on to direct Starfighter. In interviews, Levy said Kennedy encouraged him to avoid familiar legacy Star Wars characters. Every time I've asked, should I use this character that was maybe in that movie? Every time it's, you know what? Maybe people have seen that. Do something new, because they don't want Luke. I mean, right? They don't want Luke. They don't want Han. I could go on, but here's the deal, guys. This may seem like little and a lot to do about nada, but I think it's different than that. I think that I wonder. You know, Sean Levy is coming off of, I believe, he's the guy behind what did Sean do last? What was the Deadpool? Yeah. So he's very hot right now. And he's inside the Disney tent. He's got Ryan Gosling to boot on this. And it kind of feels like Lucasfilm is not locking down more efforts into that already. And this might just be a total one-off. Lauren, I want to go to you. I don't know that that's bad. I don't know that it's good, but it's interesting to me that we're hearing that they're going to stick with Favreau. Sean Levy, though, getting out and moving on to other projects. What do you think about that?
I don't see it as surprising right now. I am curious because the movie is in post-production. I would expect him to be involved with that. My take on this has always been Starfighter was left on the schedule because they wanted to see, can we play in this time period if we don't connect it to anything? Is it the era that people are objecting to, or is it what we did? Spoiler, it's what they did. But if the movie did come out and prove to be successful, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they called him up and said, hey, would you like to do another? But right now, he's going to want to keep working, so I'm not surprised that they say that, yeah, it's not like he's a Lucasfilm employee, you know? He was just doing this one-off movie, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, what do you think about the tagline they've been using with the change forever or the future of the Force is at stake? Is this a bigger, broader film, or is this a single story that's kind of cordoned off away from everything else? And also, when you weigh in on that, Lauren, could you explain where this happens? Is this post-sequel trilogy, and will it be part of that Disney Star Wars that people don't seem to like?
It is post-sequel trilogy, but the way that they have described it is that it's not really touching anything else that has gone before. They really haven't given us a lot in the way of plot details. My personal opinion is that they're sticking it in a far off part of the galaxy somewhere that is probably little known or seen. It's going to be original characters, probably a smaller story, I would guess, not something that is the fate of the entire universe is at stake. But using that kind of language, it will forever alter the Force. That's marketing speak. You always have something like that. You don't want to say, yeah, this is going to be a small, boring movie that doesn't really have any impact.
Unless it's The Mandalorian, that seems to be the marketing approach for The Mandalorian. Is like, well, it's really, we don't know what happens here.
Right. It reminds me of the power hierarchy in the DC universe is about to change, which was the big marketing push that The Rock did for Shazam or Black Adam. And I'm going to say the power hierarchy seemed to be pretty much the same after that film.
Christian, I want to ask you, this would not normally be newsworthy, but the reason I think it rises to this level is people don't know what's next for Star Wars anymore. Like that's the last thing we know of. Ahsoka has been delayed. They're saying that the Ahsoka Mando movie that was supposed to be is canceled now. There's really nothing. So when it turns out that he may be walking away and this was truly a one-off, it's not a franchisable film, people are saying, okay, what is it you're going to do with this franchise? And I don't think anybody has a clue right now.
I worry they don't have a clue behind the scenes. That's the biggest problem. We saw the sequel trilogy, which is sort of hopscotch from one film to the next without rhyme or reason. Yeah, listen, it's hard not to remember all the different filmmakers who were attached to future Star Wars movies, like the Game of Thrones duo and Rian Johnson and some other projects that kind of came and then they went. So when you hear about this, you definitely, your ears perk up. Levy is on a hot streak right now. He is in demand. Selfishly, it's the smartest move he can make to kind of get out of Dodge and do his own stuff in different projects and different platforms. Listen, I like the fact that there's a mystery behind this project. I'm A-okay with that. But the two basic questions are, what does it even mean to be a Star Wars movie today? What does that entail?
That's a great question.
And also, what's the purpose of this movie? If it's a one-off, why are they doing a one-off? Does it show a lack of confidence? Are they still kind of fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out where this whole franchise goes? I just don't know who's in charge, what's going on, what the plan is. And I think by projecting that confusion, it doesn't really help the fans, the fan base, or just set any sort of confidence that they're steering the ship in the right direction again. I have no idea.
Lauren, I saw you ready to hop in on that. You have a thought about why they're doing Starfighter the way they are. What is it?
Well, it's actually a thought about why they're doing the Mandalorian and Grogu the way they are. I think that they started to panic about the idea that we're going to lead into this crossover film that involves Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ahsoka and all of these characters that the diehard fans don't know. Or rather, that the diehard fans do know and the casual audience doesn't know. And if that's going to be the big event movie that they're trying to push, they've got to clue in those people who don't watch The Mandalorian, who don't watch Ahsoka, and who have never read the novels. And so I think they intended Mandalorian and Grogu to be low stakes, but also a primer, so that if they do that big crossover, now at least you've been given some context. But my suspicion is they've seen what the reaction to all of their marketing has been. They've seen that they're not getting the ticket sales. I think they've already made the decision that it's not going to work. We can't make this work, and so we're not even going to try.
It's interesting to see how this is playing out. Favreau, though, does seem to be the guy they're going to keep around. That was the thing that Favreau said. I'm meeting with Filoni, and we found out that was the week after the exec stopped by Lucasfilm. And so it seems like somebody at Disney has said Favreau's going to help shepherd this. I don't know that they trust Filoni to be that guy, even if he's in the role where he should be. Final thoughts, guys, on the idea that Favreau goes forward. And I love Favreau. We've talked about this before. He is a phenomenal talent for Disney, and also he's largely the guy. I mean, Kevin Feige gets so much credit, but without Favreau, there is no MCU. There's just none.
Can I get some clarification on that? Because
Please.
We knew that he was going to be meeting with Filoni to find out what was going forward. Have you gotten additional indications that they have locked him down?
No, I don't have any indication that he's signed a new contract, but we do believe that his prior contract ends with the with the Mandalorian Grogu. That was the season 4 was what his contract went through allegedly. That has been converted into the film. The reason I have a somewhat of an assumption there that he's going to be staying with them is because if Filoni met with the executives from Disney, all the top brass, flown into San Fran the week before, and I think that's what happened. If Favreau then comes in to meet with Filoni and separates away from the press tour to do that, which is what Favreau said happened, one would presume that Filoni is delivering to him, here's what the Disney execs want. Here's the roadmap. Let's talk about how we get there. You wouldn't think that he would call him in off the press tour to say, hey, buddy, just letting you know, it's still a no-go. Your contract's over and we're out. Like that would be, I can do that in a phone call and text. So that's why I think him leaving the press tour to go to Lucasfilm for that conversation is significant.
Why does Favreau even want to be a part of this? I mean, what's
I've wondered since the second season. I've wondered. It seems like he's been hijacked the whole way.
I've actually got a thought on that, and it's that I think Favreau is the closest director to Lucas that I can imagine when it comes to he likes playing with technology. And I think that gives him an in there that he doesn't have somewhere else. I think he likes playing with and developing new technology for making cinema. And if he can ingratiate himself even more into the ILM machine, which honestly, I think they've got a lot more competition now than what they used to do. I think ILM is actually in some danger if Star Wars goes down, because you don't need them necessarily to do your VFX work anymore as a contracted studio the way maybe in the past you did. So they need somebody with that kind of imagination to be developing new technologies that can produce better results cheaper than what other people are doing, possibly with AI.
That's a really smart comment. I just had an interview with Favreau a few weeks ago, and he really was dialing down into technology, the new shooting techniques, the tools in his toolkit, and he sounded like a kid at Christmas. So that may be it. That he did the Jungle Book. I think that was one of the things he did. But he may be just enamored with what's possible, which is great. But you'd like a storyteller to care more about script and characters and arcs and things like that. A little bit like James Cameron is so enamored with technology that his films have terrible scripts and the stories are kind of clunky. It's a sad devolution.
Star Wars is going to have to decide in the next couple of years, and maybe right now, which way do they go? And I think Starfighter represents a completely different approach. We'll see how it does at the box office. One thing seems for sure, though. Favreau is the man they're going to go with, and Filoni, what we need to see is, will he hold him back in the way that Kathleen Kennedy allegedly tried to hijack things like The Mandalorian? It's one app to rule them all. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got this scoop. And what's it coming to us from? Well, what is that? The Wide Shot? What a strange name. I don't know about that, but we're talking about, it's the Wide Shot newsletter. Let's zoom in so you can see it too. Make it much better. Folks, Josh Tomorrow and the one app to rule them all. This is being covered by Samantha Masanuga. And it goes on to talk about the idea that Disney Plus is essentially going to become like Amazon Prime. Well, there's a funny thing about that. And that is, we've been covering this for a very, very long time. In fact, we're going to go back in the Wayback Machine to a time when prose sounded differently, because the first time I went on to YouTube was with Valiant Renegade. And the way we did that was we needed at the time to keep me very anonymous. And over time, we've been slowly pitching my voice to where it's now exactly where my normal voice is. So don't be dismayed by hearing me sound a different way. Pay attention to the words that I say 2 years ago as we talked about this exact same scoop to let you know this has been coming for a long, long time.
Allegedly, it is called Project Starbeam. Perhaps they will change the name now that it's out in the public, we believe. Who knows? We'll see. But Disney, one thing that we think is actually happening is that Bob Iger is copying and pasting an idea that one Bob Chapek had and very briefly announced. Yes, it is in fact the Disney Prime idea. Bob Chapek perhaps dreamed up an application that would be one app for all of Disney, Disney Plus, Hulu, and so much more. And today, we're talking about potential leaks that uncover just what Disney
All right, so we'll stop there because it
Might
stopped.
have planned.
Hey, you stop. Stop it. All right, so that was 2 years ago. We were talking about this, but even before that, we had been talking about the Bob Chapek plan. What's amazing to me is that Josh D'Amaro, as soon as he gets into the C-suite, seems to be going back to what Bob Chapek had planned out. And what was that? What was it that, Bob Chapek, when he was removed, was essentially a political decision. He was not allowed to moderate the company. So what is it Chapek had planned that now Josh D'Amaro is going to go back to? Well, the idea is for Disney Plus to be more than just the place you watch videos. It is the monetization hub in the digital space for all things Disney. You want Disney park tickets? Go to Disney Plus. You want to watch the Super Bowl? Go to Disney Plus. There'll be an ESPN window there. You want to buy your Mickey Mouse backpack and your lunchbox and all that? Disney Plus. Everything, even perhaps Fortnite, the version for Disney, is a spoke that you can go to through a link. This is what they've been planning for a long time. It is essentially Disney Prime. And Jonas, this is something we've been following. One of the first scoops we had about this was when we found out that Disney was going to buy Hulu to kill Hulu. That's essentially happened now. Jonas, what do you think about the monetary idea of Disney trying to develop a singular app where all of these things go into a feeder system? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And what do you think about Josh D'Amaro resurrecting it after Iger came in and stopped the thing?
Well, before I say whether it's a good idea, I'm just going to say that I hate the idea. I absolutely hate it. I hate the idea of super apps. It's a way to wrestle control away from Apple and Android and whatever operating system that you're in. Integration is fine, but this kind of stuff just annoys me because I don't necessarily want my park ticket stuff to be tied to if I watch some show for work on Disney Plus. So this is something that I think would play well to Wall Street because they see more data gathered together, a cradle to grave kind of everything about you that we can gather in one place. Sure, yeah, they can do that. With Amazon, it's interesting that they compare this to Amazon because Amazon will allow you to sign into many different apps using an Amazon account, but they separate those apps out into different experiences. Like Kindle is a different app than the Amazon Store app, as well as Prime Video is a different app. Woot is a different app, and I think there's a different one for Whole Foods. Now, there may be a single sign-on that you can use for each one of those, but you still have the option of signing in different ways. As I understand it, this was the pitch to the board that got him the job. He was trying to find a way to monetize Disney Plus better, which obviously is something the company needs to do. They've wasted, in my opinion, $15 billion on the low side on an app that people barely watch, and on the high side, more like 150 million trying to make that work. Billion, sorry, I dropped the B there. This is something that they probably need to do for lip service, but really they need to be focusing on making those parks as profitable and as much of a draw as possible.
Without advocating for it, though, Christian, there is a distinct power in having the retail side of Disney also completely intermeshed with the delivery of the content. So you might imagine, for example, that if there's product placement in a certain movie, when the product placement shows up, they could actually put a little, a clickable link in that for people to go there. Or if you really like Moana, they can detect that, right? They can detect that you've watched, your little girl has watched Moana 7 times in the last 12 days. And suddenly on Disney Plus, all of the ads plus a link that you can go to is Moana and takes you straight into the Disney, the Disney store in the app. There's a power in that, and I think that's what they're after. What do you think is the benefit to third parties? Maybe do you think that's a potent part of what Wall Street will be looking at?
I don't know. I agree with Jonas as far as I understand the business pitch on this area. It does make sense in a certain way, and I get sort of the synergy and using all the resources under the Disney umbrella. I get that. But a couple of things. I think the Disney brand has been beaten up in the last few years, and it's obviously self-inflicted wounds. So maybe not the best time to launch something of this caliber, of this size. So that's an issue. And also, I just think we're getting more and more suspicious of geez, I just look for boots on Google, and all of a sudden on Facebook, I'm getting boots ads for boots. So I think maybe we're kind of rolling our eyes and getting used to that reality, but I still think there's a cultural obstacle in the way of that. So yeah, it's a huge swing. I understand the purpose behind it, but making it happen, I think, would be very risky. I think the chances of success are small, but if they do succeed, it would be significant.
Right. Putting just as a parent, putting Disney shopping right next to where babysitter content is, it seems like a horrible idea.
I was going to say talking about your devices listening to you and tailoring it and the paranoia that it creates. Yeah. I ran an experiment years ago. Something that I would never search for, I started including in my everyday speech, and I would just slip it in unusual ways, and people would laugh about it because they knew what I was doing. But I started saying rutabaga. It took 2 weeks, but I finally got advertisements for rutabagas. It took 2 weeks. Not high on the list, I would say, of priorities for Amazon and Google. But
yeah.
Anyway, the power of this, from Disney's standpoint, is they want everything under one singular umbrella, and they've kind of given that away with the Hulu deal, right? Hulu was very powerful. It's less so today because they've integrated it into Disney Plus. ESPN, they're working on doing the same thing. I don't understand anymore why you have an individual Hulu account or an individual ESPN account if you can just have Disney Plus and get access to all of it. And I think that's intentional. And I think they're looking at how do they do interactive games on Disney Plus. I think they're looking at how do we do park tickets on Disney Plus. So, Lauren, this is, I think, where they're barreling towards. I don't know that it's going to work. I don't know that it's a good idea, but it may jazz Wall Street for a while. This may be what they want to see out of the House Mouse.
I'm going to kind of go against the group consensus here and say I think this is the smartest idea they've had for the Disney Plus app in quite a while. Because I think that what they've been trying to do this whole time is force people into their content distribution stream, and they just don't have enough content to keep people retained. But if you put a storefront in there, especially for those Disney adults who are totally into all the merch and everything, I think that helps with retention. It helps with advertising because you get to advertise your new content to them. They may even be able to do some things like cross-promotional discounts or other ways to retain you so that you're constantly engaging with the app. So from a business standpoint, I think it's a smart move. Whether people actually like it or not, I can't tell you, but I don't think it can get any worse for the app as it currently exists. So any change is probably a good change.
And considering the highest margin return they have is from the parks, specifically Walt Disney World, but also Disneyland, and then the others all lesser. And who knows on the cruise lines? If you've got a kid who's sitting there watching Peter Pan, or you've got a kid who's watching Coco, or there's such a wide variety of things that they can watch. You can actually, and I don't know they're going to go into this resolution, but you can actually start showing those characters from the parks in the park advertisement. Like you can start showing the offerings you have specifically for that thing, so that then when the kid sees it, the kid's like, mommy, we got to go to Disney World. We got to go see Coco, because now it's in the park. And that is what they call the flywheel. Jonas, I don't know if you want to describe the flywheel.
Hate it.
Boy, here we go.
The flywheel is the concept that when you have a new product that Disney wants to launch, ideally you would create a movie that is going to last for 100 years, like a Snow White. And then from there, you would offer merchandising and the soundtrack. And from there, you would then do a theme park ride at one of their many Disney parks and resorts locations. Then people would go into the theme park and they would see the Snow White ride, and they would say, wow, you know what? This reminds me of that movie. I'm going to buy more merchandise. Or maybe they go into the parks and they say, I'm completely unfamiliar with this Song of the South movie that they've based this Splash Mountain ride off of. But I love the song Zippity Doo Dah. Maybe I'm going to go and watch this Song of the South movie. Oh, wait, maybe that's not the best example, but the idea still applies. This is why having Avatar in the theme parks was a good move for James Cameron, because there was a continual refreshing of interest in Avatar. This is why having the DeLorean and the Jules Verne style time traveling train in Universal Studios Florida, I'm sure they've got it in Hollywood as well, why that's a good idea. There are properties that continue to exist and are refreshed because they're in the parks. And then there are items at the parks that are continually refreshed because you see them on streaming. And then the merchandise also plays in either direction there. It's supposed to be a giant feedback loop, increasing the relevancy of the company. Unfortunately for Disney, they kept refreshing their brands and making people hate them.
So, final thought I'll give it. And Christian, if you would be so kind as to respond to this one, I'd love to pick your brain. The difficulty I find here. So I kind of agree with Lauren, actually. I think this is a great idea from an investment standpoint. The problematic nature is Disney now is far bigger than Disney, but the Disney name is going to be on all this. If they do a Disney Prime app that's everything Disney, and it'll still be called Disney Plus, they'll just transform it underneath. But if they do that, you've got some material, you've got some content that I don't know they need to associate with Disney. And so if you have mature content that's under this umbrella, but also generates all this revenue, once you do that, you really can't separate that back out again. And I think that might dilute the idea of the family-friendly Disney brand chasing what Wall Street wants, especially if we get into the area that we've talked about, in 2 or 3 years, where ESPN under Disney Plus may actually integrate gambling straight into the app. Christian, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, Disney's just too big. It's got too many tentacles at this point, and it's diluting its brand by doing all these different things. It may make sense from an economic point of view. I get that, and it may grow the company, but like you said, you've got these very different, distinct branches, and all of a sudden, what Disney represents is too nebulous to even put your hands around. So, and that will only get worse with this kind of approach. So, yeah, it's a significant risk, I think. And I mean, even just the absorbing Hulu into Disney Plus has brought that into existence, because you got horror movies, you got really adult content, and all of a sudden that's available with a click of the button. So that's, again, brand problems exist and thrive, and that's what Disney's gotten themselves into.
Right. I'll point out that the film Anora was not the top content rating on the site. TVMA was the top content rating. So if you wanted to watch Daredevil Born Again on a profile, you had to also allow Anora, the rated R film.
Yikes.
So Disney does not do well with technology. They like to think of themselves as a technology company, and they want to pitch themselves over and over again as that, because that is a growth area on Wall Street. I'm thinking about that we'll have it on that Park Place, because it wasn't super high priority, because we don't usually do how to navigate the parks on that Park Place. But there's a story coming with the new Bluey experience. It's going to be exclusively virtual queue for some period of time. So you know what that does? Just from a practical standpoint, if you're going to the parks and you've got grandparents with you and you've got young kids with you, you've now put this in the grandparents have to be fully integrated into this app. And the more options you put on that app, the worse it is for the end user. They need to be getting away from the phones for anything that doesn't have to be on the phone. And I feel like this is the absolute wrong direction to be going from a customer service standpoint. So I'm going to continue to hate it.
But overall, I think we've got a divide here. This is a 50-50, and that's good to have different points of view on this. I think that from an investment standpoint, Lauren and I agree this is pretty smart for Disney to do this. There are some flaws here, and I think I hear loud and clear on the customer side, Christian and Jonas taking the position that this could be a huge problem. So, folks, you let us know in the chat, in the comments. Tell us, what do you think about Disney's one app to rule them all? And also, the idea that Bob Chapek came up with this sat dormant under Bob Iger. Josh tomorrow comes into town, and where does he go? Back to the Bob Big Bob didn't care for. And folks just out there realizing now that Pro's voice has changed over the time, like, yeah, you are a little bit less bass. That's right. When we came on, like 4 years ago with Valiant Renegade, I was in a career that we did not need me to be revealed, and so we went with a what was the murder mystery show back from the 90s and 80s?
Unsolved Mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries. We thought that'd be funny if you had the Unsolved Mysteries voice. Well, the problem was that after I did that show, Mexican Iron Man called and said, "You guys got to keep doing this," and me and Valiant said, "Well, we can't do that with that voice, but you also can't jolt the audience." So it's been we're not changing it again, folks, but it's been a multi-year process. of slowly pitching back up to my regular voice, and here we are. This is the voice. So, but yes, a long time to pitch up from. Gosh, Valiant had me pitch down at like the beast.
KB Hugs here for our last string of super chats. So get them in while you can, folks. KB Hugs for $2. We need a movie about Polish Eskimos. Especially if they were assassins, they could be Polish kill bosses.
Or who knows, Ukrainian. Wait, what's the word for Eskimo that we're supposed to use now? Inuit. Ukrainian Inuits.
Yep.
I was going to say, we already had a short one that had a Japanese Eskimo earlier this week.
Did we?
Of course we did.
We
Kamchi
actually did.
for $5. If they want Star Wars to restart, they or KK need to apologize. Otherwise, no one knows if they're retracting their stupid decision and showing trust for forgiveness.
I still say it's the only way. They've got to branch it out. They got to get rid of it.
Yeah, either build a new audience that eventually the other people will come back because they've evangelized it enough, and that can't be such a politically charged audience that one side sees it as the new Handmaid's Tale, which is how Andor is viewed. It's taken Handmaid's Tale's place, or you have to apologize and restart. The first line of Force Awakens is, "I think this will begin to make things right." Many people read that as a repudiation of the prequel trilogy and a statement that they're going to get back to George Lucas style. Obviously, that wasn't quite the case. Kamchi for $2. And the main media are bribed to say nice things. Yeah. Yes, they are.
We've covered stories recently about how badly that has gotten. It's and the Mando stuff, where the video leaked of the way that they are inviting influencers individually. It's like, oh, come on.
I remember statements from, I won't say what outlet, just in case Disney's watching, but they said they went to the Dial of Destiny critic screening, and it was so much booze and great food. They're like, okay, all right, everybody needs to be in a fantastic mood and maybe not remember this film when they're watching it.
Well, the most recent thing was the tweets, right? So the tweets that talked about the Mandalorian premiere, and we compared a bunch of those tweets. Lauren was there. And they all had the same formatting for the first sentence. All caps Mandalorian Grogu, all caps IMAX, and some of the same exact verbiage. And we said, these people they're following the script. This is crazy. Like, anyway.
Yep. Let's see here. Snarky D for $5. The worst part of the Goonies and everything Lucasfilm, the Kathleen Kennedy credit. She's trash. So she is, statistically speaking, the most successful producer of all time, I do believe.
Well,
I don't get it. You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit. Oh, I get it. No, you don't, fat.
Nope. England DG for $2. No one complained about Morgan Freeman in Robin Hood.
And they better not.
Well, because historically, you had the Crusades going on, which were against the Moors, and he was represented as a Moor in Spain. Historically, that fits.
That's very true, and it is Morgan Freeman. England DG for $2. Star Wars: The Last Starfighter. I'm kind of surprised they haven't tried to do a Last Starfighter remake at this point.
I'm making a note that will be the thumbnail.
Snarky D for $10. I am exhausted. Everything racial. Hollywood is the hate, not us, and all of it is part and parcel to Hollywood's and legacy media irrelevance. Go away now. It's very true. It's exhausting to be told what you will like, or you will be kicked out of society. I don't know how the Chinese citizens do it. Packing Protons for $5. Supposedly Tom Cruise wandered on a Star Wars set recently. Starfighter, I think.
Picked up a camera, right?
Yep. He arrived by helicopter. Yep. And Ryan Gosling says, that was the day I missed somehow. That's funny. Cybershock for $2. This is nothing.
Thank you, Cybershock.
Yeah. England DG for $5. I love Inuits. They make doing my taxes and company books so much easier. Oh, wait, that's into it. Yep.
Oh, accounting jokes. You don't get those very often.
With good reason.
Yep. Yeah, they can be a cruel mistress. Long Rua for 20,000 didgeridoos. We gonna need a new summer sizzle after Colbert.
I'm just gonna tell you all, you are so fortuitous, you just don't even know it, because we set one of those goals where we'll never do another sizzle with Pedro in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had had him smooching Colbert 6 months ago, can you imagine the sizzles we could have made?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
I'd prefer not to. Tennille the 10th for $5. They're only putting off the inevitable. The sequels are a flaming pile of buttocks. That's funny. And cannot coexist with a successful Star Wars. That's a binary choice.
Do you know what I just realized, Jonas?
What, that buttocks is one of the funniest words in the English language?
It definitely is, right up there with bohunkus, and they mean the same thing. Jonas, your authentic laugh, because I know you're faking an authentic laugh very well now.
No, you don't. I have 1,000 laughs.
Your authentic laugh is the same as Elon Musk's, and I didn't realize it until right then.
Well, there you go.
We're gonna play that back to back. I'm gonna clip that.
I don't know which one is my fake laugh. So.
Who are you, Jonas? Are you secretly the SpaceX man?
No, but my mom did take a lot of Tylenol. Kamchi for $5. As of now, no one knows they're actually fixing it, and same with Marvel, as they need to make animation movies for both of them, as Marvel fouled up Spider-Man comics. I've heard there's something strange going on with Marvel comics right now with Spider-Man.
We shall not say more than that. Just know he knows something.
I know nothing. What are we talking about?
Sure.
And then for $2 more, I know Doomsday ain't saving Marvel, just final coffin. I don't know what they're going to do if this is successful, honestly, because what are they going to do? Have a cast of 35 every single time? Have Robert Downey Jr. do exclusively these films for the next 10 to 20 years? This does not strike me as a solution. The nostalgia barrel only goes so deep.
Kamchi, like a very successful proctology office, let me assure you, more coffin is on the way.
Flying blind on a rocket cycle for $2. If it ain't broke, it doesn't have enough features.
See, that's Elon. We've caught him. It's Elon's laugh.
The proctology.
Is that my real laugh? I'm going to have to start faking some to see.
Ha, 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 ha. That's going to be Jonas next week as he tries to throw us off the trail.
Yep.
No. You look at Lorne. He had the perfect timing. He was ready to go.
It's way past making it work now. I was just going to say the proctology office is the one place you don't want to hear. Let me give you my digits.
We've lost.
I broke Jonas.
He's muted himself so we don't hear the Elon laugh now.
That's all right. Doge Pal for $2. Kamchi, Marvel and Star Wars animations also bad. Well, that's just your accurate opinion, man. And then Kamchi for $2. And this is why animation is needed for Marvel. When Toei Animation was doing Marvel stuff, it was actually pretty good. It was better than anything Disney was putting out. Disney makes horrible television animation, but Toei all up in that for Japan.
That's right. Folks, it's time for the pitch. Let me throw this out there and see if this curveball lands. If this is your first time joining us on the Pro Show, we've had so many of you joining us. You wanted to hear from Critical Drinker. If you are a Critical Drinker fan and you say, I actually kind of like this show, well, we'll be back again. And you should subscribe. We're on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern live, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern. 4 videos a day, every single day. And oh, by the way, this panel, they deserve your attention too, including the Hollywood in Toto podcast. Christian, tell them what you've got coming out. It's a blast, and they need to find it right now.
Yeah, I have a really fun interview with Joseph Granda. He made a new movie called The Sasquologist. It's available now at merkelfilms.com. It's about a guy who hunts Bigfoot. He's got some personal demons. It's funny. It's irreverent. And it's the kind of movie that was made on a shoestring, but doesn't look like it. So we have a good conversation there at the Hollywood in Total podcast. You can find it on YouTube, on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you get your favorite podcast shows.
Phenomenal. Lauren, have we decided what the topic is for tomorrow night?
All dependent on whether or not Kevin is going to be back. So I do not know yet.
I hope Kevin is back. Boy, wouldn't that be a real blessing around here for Kevin to be A-OK and back again. Folks, be praying for Mr. Apollo, the big man, may return for the late night show tomorrow. What a cool thing. And Jonas J. Campbell, legend has it, sir, you're on the lead. Your sniffer is sniffing a story that might be coming out down the road in a few days. You got any updates on that one, buddy?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Still working on something, but yeah, we're taking a look at there was a movie that was controversial recently, and we're investigating as to some shenanigans. So
where the sausage is made, Jonas?
Yep. That's one way to put it.
There you go.
All
right, folks, as I step on Jonas's toes unintentionally, we got to go. We got to get out of here. We'd love to stay all day. We'd love to stay forever, but that's why we've got a content catalog for you. Go check it out. Jonas, last super chat, and then we bow out.
All right, Snarky D for $2. Sasquologist is about culture's purple potatoes.
Spudologist. And with that, we're out of here. See ya. Take care. Folks, smile and wave. Smile and wave.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matthew to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.